Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out, procrastination, putting it off, kicking the can down the road. In, plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out, carpet in the bathroom. Like, why? In, knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Libertyville, Iowa, a woman quickly marries a man with quite a history, only to discover that he's not exactly the great guy that he seems to be. If it wasn't for power saws and little red wagons, who knows how this would have ended. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
That was a good, enthusiastic yay, full-throated. I like it. That's what I'm talking about. We have a crazy episode this week, so that is very, very warranted, I will say. Hope you've enjoyed the last few weeks. We are on a roll of crazy lately.
I'm having fun.
There's some wild stuff out there, so if you have enjoyed it, very quickly, one thing you can do, get over to Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, you know, the one on your phone there. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. I don't know. You could say, tell us your favorite sandwich. That's a good one. I like hearing what people like to do with their sandwiches. Doesn't matter what you say, but it really helps drive us up the charts. Definitely head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your merchandise needs, crime and sports needs. And you should be listening to Crime and Sports if you're not. Oscar Pistorius a couple weeks ago. We had a wild soccer player from Brazil this week, and those are always crazy stories. So check all that out. Even if it's better if you don't like sports. We'll just say that. It's probably better because we're just going to bash it anyway. So have fun with that. Listen to Crime and Sports. Also listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie every Friday where we rip up romantic comedies. But lots of fun we've been having here lately. check everything out. If you want to be a producer, my God, you can do that very easily.
Thank you.
And you're going to get lots of stuff out of it. This is as much for you as it is for us. Also, we put out a lot of content, so that's a nice thing. But then you're going to get lots of stuff. You're going to get Jimmie mispronouncing your name at the end of the show. He's really going to butcher it too.
Fuck yeah.
He's going to screw it all up. If you're Italian,
I dare you.
If you're Italian, you'll get a whole new name. You might not recognize yourself. So if you've ever wanted another identity, that's how you can do it. You'll also
better than a Wu-Tang name generator.
Definitely. You will also get access to all of our bonus material. That is the bonus material for Crime and Sports as well. And again, those aren't really about sports, usually those bonus ones, so you'll definitely want to hear those.
Just extra fun.
That's right. We did the Minnesota Vikings love boat scandal, which was a lot of football players on a boat with a lot of women, and it was pretty gross. And not nice stuff there. That was one. And then we did the women executed on death row since 1977, when we reinstated the death penalty. That was the last small town murder one. So there's some
fascinating,
interesting stories in there of these people, and you'll hear that. So you'll get all of that over at patreon.com/crime and sports. Or you want to do a one-time donation, just get good karma and a new name from Jimmie. You can do that as well using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. And quickly, the disclaimer: it's a comedy show, guys. Everybody out there, comedy show. That's what it is. Here we are. We're comedians. We can't do it any other way.
No.
The stories are completely real. There's not like we're making stuff up to make it funny. You don't have to.
No.
That's the thing. The crazy stuff happens in this world, we've found. And there's many ways to look at a murder. People do, you want to see like a Dateline thing, and it's, the arm was severed from the body, and it's very dark, and that's fine if that's how you want to hear it covered, but it's a little dark for us. We like to kind of lighten it up a little bit and all that sort of thing. And there's a lot to make fun of around a murder.
Shit, yeah.
You have to make, you can't make fun of the actual death, but there's a lot around it that's crazy, and that's the point. And what you do is, and what we do is, we go out of our way not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
There you have it.
That's how it works. So we're going to have a good time with that. If you don't want to have a good time with that, if you think that true crime and comedy just should never be together ever, makes you uncomfortable, hey, that's your prerogative, but maybe the show isn't for you. Or maybe it is, and you're just, maybe thinking it's something different.
Don't know it yet.
Either way, you've been warned ahead of time that it's, there's jokes in there, so don't complain later. That said, for the rest of you wanting to have a good time, wanting to hear a crazy story, sit back, clear the lungs, and shout, "Shut up and give me murder!" Let's do this, Jimmie.
I cannot wait.
Let's go on a trip.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. We're coming from the East Coast. Connecticut last week. Oh, nice Connecticut. And we're going back to the Midwest this week.
Maybe the most affordable Connecticut.
That's one of the craziest, most affordable areas of Connecticut I've ever heard of. This week, we're going back to the Midwest, going to corn country, Jimmie.
All right.
All the way to Iowa.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Libertyville, Iowa.
Okay.
Which, that's very Midwestern. It sounds like they named it specifically for a 4th of July parade.
Everybody's got a flag in their yard.
We're going to run it through. What's that town called? We're calling it Libertyville now because the parade's coming through. There's like hardly any of you there anyway. What the hell you care what your town name is? Shit. So it's down in southeastern Iowa, this is. About an hour 50 to Des Moines, about 3 hours and 45 minutes down to St. Louis, and about 3 hours and 45 minutes the opposite way up north to Forest City, Iowa, which was our last Iowa episode, episode 141. So it's been a while, been almost a year since we visited the good people of Iowa. And Jefferson County, Iowa, this is in, as all the counties in this great nation are only named Jefferson, Washington, Lincoln, or Madison. Those are the only counties you're allowed to name. You're fucking have some creativity, for Christ's sake, people.
They've gotten their due. There's plenty of shit dedicated to them.
By the time Iowa started naming shit, because they were way later they're not one of the original 13 here. So by the time Iowa started naming shit, they had to see that other people had the idea to name a county after Thomas Jefferson. They had to have seen it, but they didn't give a fuck. Did they care? No. Just named it anyway. So I
hear he was a great dude.
I mean, well... there's some, that's one of those where it's like, well, he did some really good stuff. Ooh, shit, he also did that. Oof, that's really bad. Oh, wow.
He was president when Lewis and Clark did their shit.
Yeah, that was his idea. Yeah, he's one of the, he's kind of the author of the
did some nice things.
He did some amazing things, and then he did some also very, very bad things. So we'll just say, for some reason, they named counties.
Got it.
So it's area code 641. Motto here for this town. That's, it's a small town, but they got themselves a motto.
Great.
Quote, more than just corn, there's also murder. So I don't know if you want to put that on the sign or what here, but history of this town here. It's platted in 1845.
Okay.
So that's kind of when it first happened. It's originally known as the Colony. See, I told you.
These bastards.
At a goddamn 4th of July party, and they were like, nope. No, that's not what happened. But a guy named John Jewett conceived of the idea of founding a village here, and then another guy was employed to, survey and plat the town site. There's not a lot to plat. It's just flat. You can pretty much just... I don't know, even the survey. Just draw shit in the dirt.
Well, it's probably more for, like, making measurements of who can own what.
Yeah, just draw it out in the dirt like a fucking Sandlot football play.
Fine.
Just you go down and run a hook pattern, and I'll do that. What's the difference here? What are we doing?
Right.
It's a goddamn difference. So a guy, A.N. Bissell, opened to sell the first stock of goods there, and a building which he it was his store, and it's now a barn. So it's still there. This building that was there.
Still fascinated by people who went by initials that, I mean,
A.N.
That doesn't even flow together.
Hello, A.N. Yeah,
it's not good.
It's not like J.B. or something, or like There's a lot of PJ or BJ or RJ. Whatever. J really is a key.
That's a good one.
It's a key to it.
It's a solid one.
Seems to be the second letter in everything.
AJ, VJ, CJ, DJ. They all work.
They all work.
Right.
Yeah. Is there any other ones that work? Not really. No.
No.
It's J.
It's
I don't
J.
know why.
That's the one.
Well, you can do your middle name has to be J, and then you're in business for a nickname.
A.N. No.
A.N. Bissell.
You don't get to do that.
No, but I mean, back then his name was probably like Aloysius or some shit, and he's like, no one's going to want to say that.
Or androgynous.
Yeah, androgynous Bissell. He's like, I don't think my parents exactly knew what they were naming me.
Or I don't think they liked me.
Or he was like, you know what? I'm going to run with that. He's like, yes. What's it? Maybe he felt that way.
Is his name spelled A-Y-E-N? If
it's
not,
just, he
can go fuck himself.
Yeah, no, A-N. So the first church was erected by the Methodists in 1846. I just picture like church people of different denominations rushing to the town to be the first to like put up
finish their steeple.
They show like Amish people raising a wall like the first. Come on, the fucking Pentecostals are over there. The Baptists almost have it up. Let's go. Jesus Christ, get hammering.
Religious survivor.
Yeah, that's what it is. First one to get their fucking bell or whatever up, the rest of them have to leave.
Once you get your
You erect it, you ring the bell, and everyone else goes, shit, and they have to go home. That's how it works.
First
God
one to
damn
ring
it.
your bell.
Shit, that's the Methodists. I guess they're Methodists here now. God damn it. Sorry, everybody. Already packing up.
Unbelievable.
There's a bunch of Catholics leaving. We're going to take the kids with us. So, they had this cost of $500 for the first church. It only cost to build.
That is, wow.
It was 1846.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think things
That's like a $2 billion building today.
Yeah, Jesus, forget it. It would be
amazing.
Crazy. Yeah, so 1850, they got a Presbyterian church, and then they finally built like a good one in 1857, a real church that had like a brick one, shit like that. At that point, the town had some general stores, dry goods, a lumber yard, a grain elevator, a hotel, a wagon, a carriage shop, a shoe shop, a harness shop. This is all the shit you need. Yeah. They really could have used a department store back then that would have all these things in one place.
Like a Home Depot.
Like somewhere where you get like a harness shop and a carriage.
Shop. Right.
Yeah, if you get like a harness and a carriage in one place and a wagon all together.
All that shit in the same house.
But you're like, fuck, you have to stop at 3 different stores. Well, I got to measure this because he's got it's got to fit with the carriage. Shit, this wagon. We got a problem. Okay, hold on. Let me go talk to him. I'll be back. You measure this.
You gotta get all those three guys in cahoots to get the shit to fit right.
Yeah, very confusing. They got to get the blacksmith involved to work with other things, and they had a beer saloon, a meat market, and a barber shop. Mm-hmm. And the barbers back then were like doctors too,
right?
In a weired way
because they could cut.
Yeah,
because they had a knife.
Yeah, and they were generally had sterile things that were basically they didn't know sterilization in the 1840s, but. I don't even think they had that back then. They didn't know about sterilization till like the end of the Civil War.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people died of disease because they were just cut a guy's leg off, take it, cut another guy's leg off. So if he had anything, That's what happened back then. It was very bad. Then they were like, hey, maybe we should like wash this shit.
Right.
That would help probably. So the first time that people observed the 4th of July here was in a demonstration of 1842 when they had a barbecue. This is before it was platted or anything.
Yeah.
And it's said in an account from the day, a barbecue was given and a general good time indulged. Here, so
general. Some people had a shit time.
There's some fist fights, and some
people had a great time.
3 people got killed. I'm not going to lie. So we shot each of his duels, but
let's call it general good.
It's good. Only one of them was a kid, so we're doing well. So as far as the county goes, this general county, there's only 4,000 people in the whole county here. So this is excessively rural. There is no big cities here in this county or anything. This isn't a suburb of anything. This is just the middle of nowhere. Yeah. You drive through a cornfield and you go, is there a few houses there? That's this town.
All right.
Literally. So
smoke rising out of a cornfield. You can't even see the house.
No, that's
there's a house there.
It's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So it began as a farming community. It's still a farming community. The first settlers here built kind of had their farms in 1855 in the, had like big farms and shit like that. During the Civil War here, there was 2 companies raised for the Union Army. Company H, which really didn't do anything, and then Company E, which was 39th Iowa Infantry in 1862. They were part of the Sherman's March to the Sea.
Really?
So they were basically part of, putting the dagger and the final nail in the coffin of the Civil War.
That's
which
awesome.
they were part of that shit. Just
so cool.
Yeah, so that's interesting there.
That's why they get the Liberty shit.
I guess so. That's why you're Libertyville. So it's 1,064 people served in the 39th Iowa at one time or another during its existence. It suffered 6 officers and 58 enlisted men who were killed in action during the Civil War. So there's that. Now the railway came here. It took like 40 years after the Civil War before the railroad got through here. That's how rural this shit is. This is super farmy. So the population has never been over 400 in this town, ever. The most it ever was in about 1960. It was about 370 people. That's the most they've ever had here. Right now, population of this town is 360 people, and that is up 36% since 1990.
Really?
So, yeah, they had 264 then.
Oh, man.
Yeah, way more guys than women, like 58% men, which is way out of whack, but for such a small number.
That's what it'll do.
Yeah, if a couple of families, have like twin boys, it's over with. It's throwing the whole town out of whack. Median age is a little older. It's farm country. It's, I don't think kids are moving here after college to start a career, probably. 3 times the under 4-year-old population, though.
Is that right?
Yeah, they've just had an explosion of children lately.
Recently.
In the last 4 years, I guess. Corn-fed, that's what happens.
Yeah.
They're going to be big kids there.
They're shooting that.
That's right. So married population's a little bit higher as it goes with some of these. Divorced population is actually a little bit higher as well, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
I kind of figured in corn country here it would be a little more...
a little more stick together?
Well, we have to. We got a farm to run. There's really no... what are we going to do? Who's going to shuck while I pick?
Right.
Got problems. We got to stick together.
Half, we got to stick together to get your half.
That's right. Well, we both want to eat. So not a lot of single with no children. 3% single with no children. Okay. So that's very low. Race of this town, not surprisingly, 98.1% white. So very white. 0.0% black, 0.0% Asian, 1.9% Hispanic. That's the other... That's it. So they have 6 Mexican people there, probably. That's it. They could be of any denomination, but I'm just saying, that might be their,
It's their fucking bottom line.
That's it. There's one family of Hispanic people that have moved there. 38% of the people here are religious, and it's spread around pretty everywhere. You got some a little bit of Presbyterian, Methodist, Pentecostal, a couple of Catholics, a Lutheran here or there. It's all there. What you don't have, though, are any Jewish people whatsoever. No Jewish and no Muslims here whatsoever. That's a thing. Politically, it leans a little bit liberal. The whole county does, but it's kind of 50-50. Last election, it was 46% Democrat, 46% Republican.
Interesting.
Yeah, about 9% independent, and that was that. So, yeah, very, very much, or 8% independent, very much an even kind of a place, Iowa. And Iowa's kind of gone back and forth, too, a little bit. So, unemployment rate here is pretty low, which is, people work on the farm, so there's not really...
It's not a lot of money in that.
There can be. And these people do okay here, as we'll find out. Median household income, the rest of the country is about 57,500. Here it is 51,000.
Okay.
So that's not bad. It's compared to...
There's also a big demand for corn at the moment.
And other things, too, that are grown here. And overall, though, the cost of living, which is 100 is regular, average, here it's 75, but the housing is extremely low.
Really?
Like healthcare is very high because there's no hospitals around here, but housing is very low. 37 out of 100. Median home cost of $86,400.
Wow.
So not bad.
Unbelievable.
That's like a year and a half of your family income.
Right.
You can buy a house. How many people can buy a house with a year and a half of income?
That's tough stuff.
Not a lot of people buy houses like that.
No.
It's not usual. So that's not bad, actually. And if we've convinced you, damn it, Corn Country is for you.
Oh, boy.
You need it. We have for you the Libertyville, Iowa Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here goes for about $746, which is
why would you?
Low, but we might as well just buy something. Your mortgage will be lower than that. But the houses, a lot of them, the problem is they're on land. So they're actually, the ones I could find are actually more expensive.
Steeper than 80.
Yeah, one here I found is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Ooh. 2,200 square foot, 2,280 square foot. It looks kind of manufactured-y, but it's not like a trailer, and it's very nice inside and shit. It's on an acre of land. It's $159,900.
Wow.
That one was kind of, honestly, overpriced when you see the others.
Yeah, but 2,300 square feet.
For that's not bad.
Great.
That's not a bad, and an acre, too, so you got a little bit, don't have neighbors right on top of you. I found a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 928 square foot. It's a trailer. It's a trailer with, the shit on the bottom to try to make it look like a house. But it's on 27 acres of land. 27 acres. $195,000.
That's unbelievable.
That's not bad here.
If you don't like the house, sell half your land and put a new house up.
Knock it down. It's a trailer.
Wild.
Tow it away. So I've also found a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, kind of in the middle here, 1,800 square foot real house, not manufactured, not a trailer. It's like brick looking, brand new, just built, or this one kind of looks like a log cabin, sort of. It's like that, got that facade on it. It's on 2 acres of land, $235,000 for that.
Somebody's vacation, right?
I guess, maybe.
It's gotta be.
Maybe, but that sort of thing makes sense. Now, things to do. Saved a little time for things to do because I always like this. I found Fairfest.
Oh, boy.
This takes place nearby. Nothing happens in Libertyville. Let's be realistic here. They're not doing that much, but nearby at the Fairfest, holy shit, are they doing something, boy?
Oh, yeah.
Now the latest lineup I could find was from 2016. So let's find out what they did back then. Here,
4 years.
It's been a few years here. From 5 to midnight, they had an after hours parties nightly. It's in after hours at 5.
5 p.m.
After hours, baby.
after 4?
Oh, get those martinis flowing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's their after
That's
hours.
what you do. You put on your black tux. Fuck,
they don't know what after hours means?
I don't think they do. Till midnight.
Yeah.
So really, it's until after hours is what it should be.
After
Up
hours
until after hours
is when you guys stop.
That's it. So it's in front of the Fairfield Arts and Convention Center, which is very exciting here. Now, also, there's camping. My God.
Oh, boy.
So the first day of this had the second annual Fairfield Business Pitch Competition.
What?
It's a competition for business pitches.
It's like Shark Tank?
It's like Shark Tank, but...
Billy Shark Tank.
Farmer Shark Tank out in front of the fucking Fairfield, what is this? The Fairfield Arts and Convention Center.
This is great.
I got an idea. For what? Does it have to do with farming? No, we're not interested.
So what I got is this idea. So you've seen a Roomba, right?
Yeah.
So when the cows drop their stuff all over the patch, you got to go out there and shovel that shit, right? So I came up with the idea of a Roomba for your pasture, and then they're like, "Well, let's see it." And he's like, "I don't have. I thought you would build it."
It's a poopumba,
right?
That's what I call it. A poopumba. It's harder to say. Y'all can come up. You're the marketing. I ain't a marketing person. I'm a science man. So I'm a man of science. Obviously, I come up with the technology.
I got the idea. Now y'all build it.
I drew a picture. As you can see, it's round. and there's poop, and then it goes up inside of it. That's the specs of it. I mean, y'all can come up with the specifics, right, but I feel like this is the general.
My suggestion: ATV tires.
It's going to be good.
Because my other one gets hung up on the rug. Forget the long
never mind
grass. There's no way to
get stuck on dog hair, so I don't want it to.
Forget dog shit. Forget cow shit.
So then they have the Local Foods Investment Showcase and Roundtable.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to do that? Roundtable.
Yeah.
Then Friday, September 2nd, they have, it's a lineup of bands. It's a full lineup of bands, headlined by Buddy Guy.
Oh, boy.
Who's an old-timey fucking musician.
Haven't we had him on something?
I don't think so. So, the Mike Dillon Band opens up. I have some bios for these guys, in case you'd like to hear a bio of the Mike Dillon Band.
Mike Dillon.
Yeah. How many artists can claim being praised a punk rock provocateur, jazz vibraphone visionary, and percussion virtuoso in the same sentence? I mean, Jimmie's been called that before. Yeah. I've heard people call you that. Exactly. It's weird that they said that exact verbiage that I've heard so many times. Percussion virtuoso.
It's like he was there and just thought they were talking about him.
That's strange. There's only one, Mike Dillon. So nobody else, just Mike Dillon. Whether through his affiliation with artists like Les Claypool, who's Primus's fucking frontman there, Brave Combo, and Ani DeFranco, collaborations such as Garage à Toi, Garage à Toi. Yes, that's fucking amazing. I love fucking terrible band names. They are awesome.
Great.
The next one, the Dead Kenny G's, which I guess it's like the Dead Kennedys, but whatever.
With saxophones.
With saxophones. And Critters Buggin'.
Okay.
Or bands he's fronted, including Billy Goat and Harry Apes BMX.
Billy Goat is him.
What?
Billy Goat is him?
Apparently.
That's incredible.
Is it?
I've never
heard of them before. Yeah, I was like, is it? Because I've never heard of that motherfucker.
I'm still stunned with Garage à Toi. That's fucking amazing.
Garage à Toi. That's clever. Ian Moore and the Lossy Coils. Oh. Shall we hear about Ian Moore and the Lossy Coils?
Yes.
A Fairfest favorite. Oh. Well, you know they're going to be good then if they keep coming back here. There's only 4,000 people in the county, mind you. So even if the whole county comes, it's still kind of not really a stadium show, if we're getting at here. Ian Moore is a guitarist and singer-songwriter from Austin, Texas. He studied fiddle as a child, but switched to guitar when he realized that fiddle is fucking useless in the marketplace. No, I'm just kidding. Switched to guitar.
In the country, it's fucking everywhere.
Is it? I have no idea. And when wrist problems interfered, his music contains elements of folk, rock and roll, world music, and blues.
I'm sorry.
He
changed from fiddle to guitar when he had wrist problems because a guitarist gets blown while a fiddle player jerks off.
Well,
that's the problem.
Well, that's true. Also, though, you have to understand here, he's got a fiddle, right? So there's going to be wrist problems with a fiddle. Never. I'm not going to say.
It's because he's jerking off.
No. I was going to say something.
Nobody blows the fiddle player.
Yeah, I was going to say something much dirtier than that, and I said I'm not going to. Let's not go there. I'm not going to one up. I'm not going to one up on dirty on this one. Let's save that for later. So, his covers include Many Rivers to Cross, the Beatles' Hey Bulldog. Okay.
Yeah.
And Bob Dylan's You're a Big Girl Now. He's played with such musicians as the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, ZZ Top, and appeared in Billy Bob Thornton's movie Sling Blade. Who the fuck was he in Sling Blade, number one? And because I've seen that movie 100 times. And number two, did he play like in the parking lot while those bands had a concert? He had like a fucking coffee can set up playing outside.
James, I wonder if he was the guy that was helping him at the goddamn lawnmower place. Like the guy that the owner was like making him help him. Because there's only like seven
people, but it could have been an extra though. That's the thing. And he's, touting it. Yeah, he could have been one of the people in the institution. He could have been,
don't claim that.
One of the people in the diner when he's, having the conversation with John Goodman or John Ritter, Goodman, ordering French fried potatoes. Two very different guys, I would say. So let's see here. Steve and Michaela McLean are also there. Quinn Sullivan, and then Buddy Guy. And then a late-night dance party with Bamboo.
Oh.
So there's that. Is
that a band, or is that like they're going to dance around holding bamboo?
Let's find out.
All right.
I have the Bamboo is a collective of genuine soul-driven melodies combined with world-class dance rhythms, which include reggae, South American, and African styles, with a regular dose of psychedelic jam to make this unique band a one-way ticket to Nirvana. Holy shit. Somebody really worked overtime on that fucking description. Wow.
Although, they're the coolest ones so far, in my opinion.
They will power you up and make you dance like you are the entire universe at once. Wow. The band features New York City native Barbara Murillo, old-time friend of guitar legend Jimi Hendrix. Oh, I was a friend of Jimi Hendrix on lead vocals. I mean, that's what we hung out one time and smoked a joint and stuff. So I'm a good musician. You should buy tickets.
I'm talented.
Jesus Christ, and all sorts of other fucking people. Who cares?
Sound like musical ayahuasca.
That's kind of what it is here. And then the next night, you're going to have Society of Broken Souls, Steve and Michaela McLean in the Jefferson County Green Band. Whoa, that's a long name. You can't fit that on a fucking marquee.
I haven't seen them in years.
Well, I have, actually. They played my birthday party this year.
Getting worse.
It was tough. I had to drain my savings for him. It was very difficult. Brian Johansson is also there. Charlie Parr.
Oh boy.
Greg Brown, and then Donovan closes it out from the 60s. There.
Really, Donovan.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Donovan from the 60s. Yeah.
The herky jerky man.
They wheeled him out there. Hurdy-gurdy, not the herky jerky. That's the fiddle player.
Right.
He's the herky jerky man. Donovan's the hurdy-gurdy man.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is,
plays one song and leaves.
He's like, yeah.
And he leaves. Spirit in the Sky, his
he
too?
does Mellow Yellow is also him.
Is that him too?
Yeah, Donovan's Mellow Yellow.
He's got a few, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a few. He's a hurdy-gurdy man, Mellow Yellow.
I think Spirit in the Sky is his too.
No, that is... is
that not him?
No, that is Norman...
Yeah, you're right. Greenbaum?
Something like that. Yeah. It's a Jewish name.
Yeah,
I know that.
I think that's him.
Yeah, I think it's Greenbaum.
So good.
So anyway, yeah, that's different. So anyway, he's not doing that. Crime rate in this town. What we're interested in, we're not actually. I'm more interested in that festival, but we have to talk about the crime and the murder.
Eventually.
That's how this show works, unfortunately. They fucking make us talk about murder. If this could just be small town, I would love this show so much. So they make us talk about murder. That's the thing. We didn't start the show to talk about murder. And the next thing you know, people expected murder because it's called Small Town Murder. And then here we go. Now we have to talk about murder. So
it's called Small Town Murder, and we were just talking about rivers.
That's it.
Would you guys talk about some murders?
Is somebody ever going to talk about murder?
Right.
Like what we do. We talk about like a murder of crows. Right. We talk about lots of things like that.
And how you're going to murder that death row food that I made you because I'd eat
good. Yeah. So crime rate here, property crime is under half the average. Okay. So it's way under there, which, like I said, who are you stealing from? They don't live near each other.
There's not enough people to have enough assholes to keep the crime rate up.
And everybody lives fucking 50 acres away from each other. Who cares? And violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is about half the national average as well. So this county, when this murder took place that we're going to talk about, this county, Jefferson County, had not had a murder in 17 years in the whole county.
It's impressive.
No murder. I mean, there's only 4,000 people, but still no murder. So
kept
they just
all 4,000 safe.
In line, at least. Well, maybe not safe, but at least not dead by another's hand. Right. So that's good. So let's talk about a murder, shall we?
I'd love to.
Let's do it. All right. We got to talk about a young lady first. We'll talk about a woman here. This woman, her name at the time, Betty Lou DeVore.
Yeah.
DeVore.
Okay.
DeVore. Betty Lou just goes by Betty, but her name's Betty Lou, so you can't leave out the Lou when someone's name's Betty Lou.
Yeah.
She's born in 1949.
Yeah.
Betty Lou. Our story is going to take place about 1991. Okay. So she's about 40 years old at that point in time. And we'll talk about her life a little bit. Betty's a small lady. She's only 5 feet tall.
Okay.
So she's very small. I can show you a picture over here.
Right.
Never mind the person on this side.
Yes.
But that's Betty there.
Oh, goodness.
What does she look like? A tiny little, Iowa farm lady.
Yeah. She looks like she smokes a cigarette while she drinks blonde coffee.
High and tight hair.
Yeah.
She's got the, farm lady hair. She looks like she goes to church maybe 4 times a week.
She's got those house coats on the back of the bathroom door.
Looks like she can bake bread like nobody's business.
Hell yeah.
Like a good baker.
Good subscription to Good Housekeeping.
Oh, yeah.
Right there in the bathroom.
Absolutely.
For her shit reading.
Looks like a farm lady.
Yes.
Like there's no doubt about it. Very tiny little. Hey,
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Lady, she has had quite the life, though, Betty. She's been around a little bit in terms of...
She's how old?
She's 41 in 1990. Mm-hmm. Her first husband, a man named Dale Guffey, he says that she had a bit of a problem with reality after their second child was born in 1969.
How do you mean?
Well, she had some issues of literally was kind of dissociative, didn't really know what was happening.
Postpartum?
Time to time. It's some sort they thought it was some form of postpartum, but we're talking 1969. So postpartum was still in the cheer up bitch phase of, not, you have hormones and issues and chemicals and we need to help you out. It was, I don't know, cheer up, bitch. Here you go. Fuck you want from me? Yeah, you had a kid, you're chunky. What do you want? That's what the doctors used to tell you if you're a new listener.
Watch some baseball and shoot some fireworks in a couple weeks.
Why don't you clean the house a little? That'll that'll trim you up, make you feel better. That's what doctors used to tell women back then, as just as disgusting as that is. So,
are you making your husband feel good?
Well, I mean, geez. I mean, if your husband's not attracted to you, obviously, shit like that, they would tell her. Right. Well, I mean, have you been making his dinner properly? Maybe you'll feel better if you do.
Are his creases crooked on his pants?
Well, that'll make him upset.
I would understand.
I can see why you would feel bad. That is how they treated these women back then. It's fucking sad. So anyway, it got to the point where that she was hospitalized. She was actually in a mental health facility for over 2 months because of this. So it got well beyond the point of, kind of a normal postpartum or normal, I shouldn't say, an average postpartum. Yeah. This is a little more than your average postpartum here.
It's intense.
This is intense. So
how long after the baby was born did this happen? Like right away?
Yeah, like a couple months afterwards. And then
so now the husband's at home with a 2-month-old.
With 2-month-old
going,
and another.
What the fuck? Figure your shit out,
That's
lady.
the second kid, yeah. It's 1969. I don't even know how to change a fucking diaper.
Right.
I can't make food. The house is filthy. A man at home in 1969 was worthless on the inside.
Right.
On the outside, he could fucking trim the yard and all that shit would look great. And he'd walk inside and it would be on fire. And I don't know how to put it out. You wouldn't know what he was doing whatsoever.
Baby pissing with just pins sticking in his hips.
In his hips, diaper on his head, shit trail behind him.
Blood running down his thighs.
Yeah, little brother on fire.
Right.
That's what's on fire. That's where that smoke's coming. Put your brother out, for Christ's sake. Jesus, fucking, God damn it, I'm making SpaghettiOs. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Dad's probably thought that the pins were supposed to go into the baby.
It's going to fall off otherwise.
How else is it?
How else do you attach it to the child?
The baby? That seems prehistoric, but all right.
I don't know. How else do you attach it to the child? So what the hell?
Doctor said to do.
Otherwise, they're going to shit and it's going to pull it right down. The weight of the shit. I mean, who knows? So I'm going to put maybe some suspenders. You modified it. But that's what a father would do. You'd walk in, the diaper would be on wrong, but he'd have suspenders on to make sure it's on or just staying on.
It's his dad's suspenders, though, so the diaper's at his ankles.
Just walking into walls and shit. Like Mr. Mom. Remember Mr. Mom when the repair lady comes to fix the TV and like the fucking washing machine's going crazy and the baby's eating chili off the can and
Michael Keaton's got flour on his face.
He's got flour everywhere and another kid's doing it. That's what men used to be.
Right.
I don't know, at some point women put their foot down and were like, you need to figure out how to do shit in here too, and then we figured it out. But in 1969 that wasn't happening. So anyway, he says, the ex-husband says, quote, she got upset about little things, but said that she was never physically abusive or anything like that. She just had like a freak out on her own and whatever her problem was. And
personal
meltdown. It was all in her own, mind. She didn't lash it out on other people. She wasn't violent to the children or, he didn't wake up in the middle of the night with a fucking knife over him or anything like that.
She didn't take it out on anybody else. She took it out on herself.
And that's everything with Betty is takes it out on herself.
God damn it.
So that's how she operates.
Betty.
Her father, and it makes sense because we'll get a little more background on Betty. Betty's father, Rex DeVore, which sounds like he should have a cigarette in a cigarette holder, like one of those white like dinner jackets, you know what I mean, like walking around a nightclub like Bogart in Casablanca. I feel like
and he's been wearing that jacket all day because he had no chance of getting it dirty.
Rex DeVore here, how you doing? And he's picking up women like crazy. That's her father, old Rex DeVore, and her father says that Betty's mother has a history of mental illness as well, and not that Betty does besides that one incident, but the mother did have a history of mental illness. She once threw a knife at him, and Betty was there to see that when she was a child. So was she mentally unwell, or was Dad just a dickhead and probably deserved it? according to doctors, they thought it was him, or they thought she was mentally ill at the time, and apparently the mother was so kind of out there that the father said he feared that his wife might harm the kids in the night.
Oh no,
because she would like pop up with knives out of nowhere and shit. So he was scared to the point where he would tie her hand to his wrist at night in case she got up in the middle of the night to kill the kids.
Holy shit.
So he would wake up and go, hey, no, don't kill the kids.
Right.
She'd go, oh, I'm sorry, and go back to sleep.
He's literally making himself a ball and chain.
Yeah. That's wild. So he said, quote, I don't know if the kids knew of her behavior, but she did say that Betty was nearby when he was attacked with a butcher knife while he laid on the sofa by his wife. His wife they weren't even an argument. She just came in the room with a butcher knife and tried to attack him, and he was like, holy shit. And the kids were there like, what the fuck? It was not like I said, there was nothing to precipitate it. It was just, he's laying there. All next thing you know, fucking knife-wielding mom comes in the room. Ooh. So mom is a little flighty, let's just say here. And the father says, quote, when it started, it was a pretty good marriage, but it kept getting worse over time. And eventually her parents divorced in 1960 when she was 11. Mm-hmm. They had 7 children.
Good Lord.
So a 1960 divorce, those didn't happen as often. Mm-hmm. And when they did, a lot of times it was just like, well, you go this way, I go that way.
Right.
Men started new families and never saw their kids anymore, and that was just it. The woman would have to try to find a man who would accept her kids and fucking raise them as his own, and that was
hopefully not diddle all of them.
Yeah, which is the problem. Right. It's the hard thing to find.
Generally, a woman...
Bring your 7 kids on over to my house.
Come on in.
I got room for all of them. I got some room right here next to me.
One of you just sit right here on my lap.
Oh, boy.
You're the cutest.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So she ends up meeting Harold Freeberg in 1989. Betty does. Now, like we've said, she's been divorced a couple of times. Harold, as we'll talk about, has had quite the history with marriage. marriage. Harold is older than her. He's born in 1931.
Okay.
So he is significantly older than her, obviously. He's almost 18 years older than her.
Yeah.
Which is, whatever. He's in his late 50s and she's about 40 when they meet. So, I don't know.
At that point, who gives a shit?
That's the thing. It doesn't matter. And for some reason, women can tolerate older men. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you guys are just nicer, I guess. You're like, you know what? I can deal with the wrinkly balls, I guess. So, which is a fucking... Thank you. That's a testament. When I get older, I'm going to be happy that, women are okay with that. Well, I only need one, but still, she'll be okay with that, I guess. That's good. Whereas, men aren't as forgiving for some reason. We're a lot more vain when it comes to that stuff. I don't feel like we have the capacity.
Yeah, well, when it starts to fall apart, if you're a visual aspect person,
well, that's what sex,
it's tough to keep going when you see something you don't like to see.
That's true. Yeah, I guess if you're younger, it's a tough thing.
Not everybody jerks to all porn. You can't look at one porn and be like, "Yep, I'll do it to all of them because I appreciate all naked bodies."
No, see,
there's some things that you do it for.
There's women listening right now going, "Really?" They don't know this. This is a fact that, men's jerking habits are very specific.
Oh, yeah.
They're extremely specific.
Yeah.
By the time they've hit, 14, they've really honed in on the thing that they fucking like.
I know what I dig.
They know what works for them. They know, what's going to happen. It's a very specific thing.
And if you watch pornography from 16 to 28, you see 4 or 5 girls retire, and you got to try to find a new one that you like if that's the way you do it. That's the way I do it.
That's what goes on in our fucking minds, by the way.
God damn it, keep making porn.
Jesus Christ.
I need you.
Yeah. My God. So, that's kind of what was going on here. So she meets this Harold Freeberg, and they meet at a singles event.
Yeah.
Just like a gathering for singles in Fairfield.
Okay.
So, I guess, I don't know how else you would meet people back then. There's no, outside of a newspaper classified, there's no online. You can't go on, there's no farmers only.
It's mostly bars.
So you go to a bar, and even there, though, it's so rural. Yeah. How do you even...
Same people.
It's the same people, and I don't know. So, I guess a singles mixer is the only way you'd meet anybody. Yeah. So they ended up dating for 21 days from March of 88 when they meet. They date for 21 days, and then Harold proposes to Betty.
What the fuck?
Very quick.
Yeah.
I guess when you're older and you're on the farm, you just fucking lock it down.
He doesn't have much time left either. He recognizes it.
Yeah, I think he saw her and he's like, all right, this is some good. I can make a farm partnership here with this fucking broad.
I'm not getting any younger. It's been 3 weeks. Yeah. I still like you. You've definitely shit by now, and I'm still here.
Things move quickly in corn country. Let's just say that shit. So a friend of his said, quote, Harold could woo someone, and after the courting was over, the wooing changed. He said that it would start out, all of his marriages would start out smoothly, but then in the first couple years, things would get a little different. Harold would change, and there was always a pattern, his friend said.
Having some expectations.
Well, he just turns from a nice guy kind of all at once into not a nice guy out of nowhere. And it's a pattern because it's happened 5 times before.
Good Lord.
Betty is Harold's 5th wife.
He has not learned.
He also has 7 kids, Harold. So Harold has been around. He's 59 years old, 5 wives, 7 kids. He's had a full fucking life here, and he has a farm in outside of Libertyville. It's between Libertyville and Batavia, by the way, but it's a little bit closer to Libertyville by like a half mile. So I picked Libertyville as the town. It could have been Batavia. It doesn't really matter.
Either way, it's still happening.
It's happening. So also Betty with her has a daughter. Has a teenage daughter who in 1988 is 12 years old. Her name is Heather, and she lives with them as well. Harold, within the first year of the marriage, adopts Heather as well. So that's a good sign that he's accepting Heather not only as his own, but he's adopting her, which that's big. Jesus Christ. He could be, ostracize her and not want anything to do with her. Or you look at her as a burden that's getting in the way of time with his new wife and all that shit. And instead he's like, no, that's my daughter. So good for Harold.
She has 2 other kids too then?
She has older kids, too. She has older kids because the one was born in 1969, so they'd be 20 years old and gone, and then the other one was older than that, so they're in their 20s.
The wherewithal to move out of Iowa.
Yeah, and just away from craziness because there's a lot of stuff going on. By the way, saying Harold is a nice guy for adopting Heather is probably the last nice thing we're going to say about Harold there. So let's talk about some of Harold's former wives. Here's one, Mary. He married in 1951. Yeah. So this dude was getting married in 1950 fucking 1.
Jesus.
Think about that shit.
No. It's a tough life, man.
51. And he was still around. That's just wild to me. Like, I can't imagine fucking... I Love Lucy wasn't even on yet.
No.
Like,
there was nothing on.
It was really... Yeah, it was like really nothing. It was
the nightly news was on.
TV was like in like 3 cities. Like you couldn't even get it out here. They didn't even have nothing. TV. So between 1951 and 1966, when they were married, so they're married for 15 years. When she finally divorces him, she charged in her divorce decree that he subjected her to quote cruel and inhuman treatment as to endanger her life. He filed a cross petition with similar charges. Yeah. His said that the marriage was destined to failure. Listen, he said this shit in court documents. Yeah. Listen to this shit. Destined to failure because his wife refused, among other things, to prepare meals for him and his children, to help with chores on the farm, and to can and process garden or orchard products. So... I mean, Jesus Christ, Jimmy, that was why my first marriage fell apart, is she wouldn't can orchard products. I was like, listen.
The goddamn...
I couldn't take it anymore, Jimmy.
Absolute refusal to be a domestic slave was just the ending of it.
I mean, no.
I knew it was coming.
No. The rest of it was all fine, but then I said, can some orchard products, and she was like, no. And I was like, what? I will not have that in my house. I'm not going to have it. You can those orchard products. Like, what the fuck is that to include in a court document?
Can the orange slices.
Did she cheat on you? No. No. Did she beat the children? No. Did she poison you? No. Set the house on fire? No. Run away? No. Gamble all the money away?
I said she refused to can the tomatoes.
I got peaches just sitting here. They're just sitting here. They look canned to you? They're fucking rotten. Fucking rotten peaches, goddammit. So, and she had a bunch of wives. The last wife that we found is Janabelle Spees, who was divorced from him in 1984. Uh-huh. So that's the last wife we know of, and then he meets her in 1988 and gets married. But between 1951 and 1984, he's had 5 wives in there. Jesus. So and 4 between 65 and 84. So he packs them in there, 1 every 5 years.
Yeah.
He pumps them out.
He really does.
Every 5 years.
Every 5 years he starts over again.
Trading them in, I guess, or something. I don't know what his fucking story is. They get tired of him,
and
probably.
It's not even every 5... He doesn't have a marriage for 5 years because there has to be like a divorce and then like being single.
Oh, yeah.
So
you have to meet somebody. You have to go to the Fairfield Convention Center.
Right. Then you got to get them into 3 weeks later, marry them, and then find out they won't can shit, and off to the next one.
That's the next one. Well, that actually makes sense that he's a quick courter then, because that's how you end up with 5 wives, because you court them fast. They come fast and hard. You'd think after 5 on your 6th one, you'd be like, you know what, I'm going to take it slower this time. Just give it 2 months maybe. Yeah. Make sure this is a good thing.
After the 3rd one, you should be like, the first time I got married was 15 years ago. That averages out to be 5. Maybe I should wait a minute.
After the 3rd one, you should be like, I'm never doing that ever again. The fuck was I thinking?
Maybe I'm the problem.
No, that's it. If Sarah decides ever she doesn't want to be with me anymore, I'm never getting married again. No. That's it. Yeah. 3 times?
Why would I?
There's a fucking cliche for that. If you fail 3 times, and I am not doing it.
I'll hang on to my chance and just say 2-time loser.
Her for as long as she'll fucking tolerate me, and that's that. I'm done after that. So back to Betty and Harold together, though. Now, Betty and Harold, it sounds like a match made in heaven, and Betty and Harold out on the farm.
Yeah.
Come on.
TV show.
It seems right. Yeah. They got a young daughter there. It's good stuff. Harold is a farmer because they live on a farm. Like I said, orchard products. You gotta fucking can them. He's also an antique dealer. Oh. He goes around, he'll go states away to go to estate sales, antique things, and get antiques and then sell them to local people and also people in other states. Like he's a dealer where people come from other states to pick out his stuff. So
the Antique Roadshow wasn't on the air yet.
No, it's the truth. And there is a lot of shit back then and still is, but I mean, especially back then because now it's a known thing, but old barns would be treasure troves.
Barn finds. It's a thing.
There's TV shows about it. Every once in a while you'll see like articles about a barn find, and it'll be like, there's 20 1960s Corvettes in here, just like pristine in this fucking barn.
Why'd this guy buy all these?
Some weird farmer bought one every year and just pulled it into his garage and fucking to look at it. The weirdest shit in the world.
It's amazing.
Why did this happen?
I don't know, but they did it.
That's what happens with antiques too, apparently. So it happens a lot. Like I said, there's whole shows about this type of shit. So he's doing that. Betty works from home selling insurance. So she's a, kind of a what are they called? Like an independent broker that works for a company, though. Okay. So she works at home and does it. She sells dismemberment insurance, which is...
Say again?
Dismemberment insurance, which is, if you...
It's farmer insurance.
If you lose a fucking hand out in the thresher, you can't work on the farm anymore. You need insurance for that. So,
what an insurance to have.
Dismemberment insurance. Hi. How you doing today? Good? Excellent. I'm Betty.
Yeah.
I'm with the insurance company. Have you thought about being dismembered recently? Because if you haven't, it's very possible. There's body parts just strewn across the countryside, and the only thing that prevents your children from being destitute and homeless is me right here.
I don't think I need that. Well, here's 13 horrific stories about people that thought the same thing.
Just send them pictures of fucking bloody stumps.
When you're out in the cornfield picking with the combine, and sometimes it gets clogged. Well, old John down the street, he went and unclogged that.
That's what happens there.
And it took his right arm.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
You could have used dismemberment insurance. I don't know if your finger would have counted, but
I'll bet they would have given me $25,000.
They'd give you something for that. A couple of bucks probably.
Sure.
Yeah. There's in the Anthony Bourdain, the first book he wrote, he was talking about how he worked in some fucking like New York like union kitchen, and when he first started, it was one of these big kitchens with all these old cooks that were all union guys, and some guy fucking slammed his finger in an oven door, and it like was hanging off. It was like half off. So he quickly went and got the fucking union book and figured out that you got like a shitload of money for a loss of a finger, but not one hanging off. So he just took a knife and lopped it the rest of the way off so he could collect the fucking money. Right there on the fucking line in the kitchen. He just
hold on, let me see what it's worth.
He goes, I get $30,000 if I lose a finger. I get like $5 if it's hanging off. He goes, give me that fucking knife, and he just copped it the rest of the way off. He's like, take me to the hospital.
Opened up like the Beckett of injuries.
Literally was fucking scrolling through, and he goes, oh man, I get a lot of. Imagine doing that while your finger's dangling off, pouring blood. Like, hold on, I got to go to the index and find fucking lopped finger.
What kind of shape is it in? Because it says if it's pristine, you get $20,000.
I don't know. You can just hold it. You're gonna have to prove it though.
Is it mint? Is it mint?
Yes, Jesus. It's got to be a mint 10.
Does it have a hangnail?
I need pointy corners.
You just lost at least $800-900 on that.
So Betty, at the time they got married, she had $35,000 in money and property from her first marriage, like a divorce settlement. So she had whatever. So she gave that to Harold after they were married.
Yeah.
They got married. She gave all that to Harold so he could plant the crop that year. So he could basically, she bankrolled the farm that year, basically. So he told her that he would pay it back with interest whenever she asked. So whenever you need it back, I'll pay you back with interest on this, but I need to, whatever. I don't know how farm shit works.
Rub my feet every night, go down on me from time to time.
I guess. I don't know if they do that on the farm, probably.
No, you fucking better. I just paid $40,000 for this shit.
Yeah, well, she should. Yeah, I don't think, I can't picture Harold. Although with 5 wives, maybe that's how he got them. I don't know.
Maybe he's
Harold's a fucking virtuoso with his tongue. The rest of him's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But man, can he lick some pussy, boy. It is. Woo-wee! He gets in there, and there's fucking smoke coming off that tongue, boy. Let me tell you something.
Call me the tornado.
Oh, baby. The tornado's coming. People go to the bathtub. My wife goes, oh, no, that ain't what we mean. It's a different kind of alarm in my house. So
this is a happy day.
It's a happy day. So she was told that. She said she did it because she loved him, and she said she never asked for the money to be repaid. He never offered. It was just kind of, they were married, and it kind of became community property type of deal. She said, though, that after Harold adopted the daughter, Heather, that's when he started to change. When he, I don't know if he felt
I've done my duty.
He owned these people now because now the daughter is his too. So now technically, I don't know if that keeps her there. I don't know. Stronger? I don't know what the fuck it is, but she basically he started becoming just more easily upset, more agitated over things that didn't really call for being agitated. And she said in the early winter of 1990, that's when all sorts of name calling started, and then that escalated into physical abuse as well, and sexual abuse, and every other thing you can imagine here. So, and there's a lot of people that saw this type of shit too. Like, this wasn't a hidden behind closed doors wars type of thing. He was a dick to his wife, fucking everywhere.
Wow.
Everywhere they were, people were like, God, Jesus, treat your what the fuck, dude? Even other farmers are like, that dude's an asshole. Right. I mean, shit. I call my wife a fat whore and stuff like that, but I ain't doing it like, I ain't that mean to her.
I don't do it in front of people.
Because it is like 1990, so they were, and they're on the farms. They probably were dicks to their wives, but not to this level.
Right.
So Marilyn Smothers is a woman from Washington who would buy antiques from Harold all the time. And she would come all the way from Washington to buy antiques. So he must have had some kind of good antique stash going on here. So she said that he would boss her around and embarrass Betty in front of her all the time. She said sometimes also he would flirt with other women in front of her, including her. Harold would, she said he would make crude remarks and gestures right in front of fucking Betty. Just right in front of her. It would be, make really crude sexual remarks and shit like that.
Tornado?
Yeah, exactly. You ever hear about my tornado action? Jesus.
They call me the tongue twister.
My God. So she said she went to the farm several times to buy antiques. He flirted in a crude way. She said, quote, I was embarrassed for her, which she said that Betty seemed to be humiliated by the way he acted. She said, quote, he ran his hand through my hair and said to me, quote, I'll bet with that blonde hair you had lots of boyfriends.
Oh, boy.
That is gross. That's a dude who wants you to tell him about it.
Right.
Yeah. You had lots of boyfriends. Tell me about the one with the biggest dick. That's what he said.
That's the 1960s equivalent.
Any black ones? He's going to say that shit too, Tell me all about it. Was it veinier?
That's the 60s equivalent of does the carpet match the drapes?
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's what he's telling.
With all that blonde hair,
right.
But you've had lots of boyfriends. How creepy is that? In front of his wife.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Everybody likes.
I bet everyone wants to fuck you. Like that's. I mean, the only interpretation I could get is that he wants her to tell him about the dick she's gotten,
right?
While he fucking jerks off or fucks her or does some weird shit. He's a weirdo.
Implying that she has blonde buzzy hair and he wants to see it.
Pretty much.
That's what that sounds like to me. Yeah. And that's disgusting.
Anyway, don't touch people's hair.
No.
That's weird.
Fuck away from.
So the winter of 1990 is when the abuse started.
Yeah.
Okay. Harold at one point kicked Betty and fractured her toe in a rage caused by, what do you think it was caused by, Jimmy? What made him so angry? I'll give you a guess.
Were on the counter.
No. Actually, the house settled. And there was a crack in the floor from the house settling
clearly
in the winter. And so he got super mad and kicked her. Yeah.
Kick the house, man.
Yeah, he didn't even take a diluted path to blame her for it. Like, well, if you didn't put the chair here, right. He didn't even do that. He was just like the goddamn house and kicked Betty for it.
Jesus.
Which is fucking crazy.
Find the guy that built it. I didn't do it.
Dude, that is nuts. That's like people that are, yelling on the phone and hang up, well, fuck you too, boom, and then kick their dog. Like, who's just standing there. It's like, what are you doing? Not that she's a dog, but for fuck's sake, like, someone who has nothing to do with anything.
It's the equivalent. That's nuts.
She didn't build the foundation of this home, for fuck's sake.
She's not a fucking mason.
No. So, anyway, later, more abuse came from another thing that had nothing to do with her. That was a bull died. So that's the bull died.
Her fault.
And that resulted in a beating. She has nothing to do with the bull. She's not responsible for the bull. No. I believe the bull is his responsibility,
actually.
Sounds
like some outdoor shit.
It died, so he came in. Imagine, and this is terrible, and this is serious for a second. Imagine being in your home and being in fear of that of all the time, not that you will do something to even make somebody mad, which is like, a normal abusive relationship. Oh, I hope I don't make them mad because then they're going to abuse me. I hope nothing happens in the world to make this person mad because they're going to abuse me. Think about how fucking scary that is.
You got to keep your head on a swivel constantly.
Any noise, anything. Oh my God, is that something that's going to make him mad and attack me? That's fucking crazy. Like you can't live like that, man.
No.
You can't live like that. It's not right. So, death of a bull, other farm problems too. Whenever anything would happen, a fucking piece of equipment broke, he'd come in and beat the hell out of her. Another time there was a dispute with one of his ex-wives about alimony, and so he would yell at her for that. And then there was the constant yelling at her about her weight as well. He called her names and told her to lose weight all the time and all this type of shit. She's not a She's not a big giant woman or anything like that.
Not a picture.
She's a tiny little person. So it's fucking ridiculous. He's a jerk. Mm-hmm. And even when he's mad at his ex-wife, he takes it out on her.
Yeah. And other point is, does she look the same as when you married her? Then
it's been 2 years. You were fine with that, so shut up. I don't care what the fuck somebody looks like. They could look like fucking, Rocky Dennis from. I don't care.
No.
If you married Rocky Dennis,
you got Rocky Dennis.
You be happy with Rocky fucking Dennis. God damn it! And you fucking go, look at that.
You married him. Don't try to change him.
You handsome motherfucker, you. Let me trace your giant jawline. I don't give a shit, but that's what you married, dude. Be happy with that shit. So, another thing too. Now she also would she never threatened to leave or anything like that, but just in case she ever thought about it, he did threaten, I will kill you if you leave. Obviously, I mean clearly that's a kind of goes without saying almost, and with an asshole like this.
I beat the shit out of you when I like you. What do you think I'm gonna do with you when I hate you?
When the house settles,
right?
You're upset about it too. Right. A crack in the floor. It's not like she was like, "Fuck yeah, finally a crack in the floor." It's what I've been waiting for.
Right.
She doesn't want a crack in her floor either.
No.
Kick her. So
it's gonna be a pain in the ass to mop over.
That's the thing. So at different times, he's shook her, slapped her, choked her. He at one point strangled her with an alarm clock cord. A fucking cord to an alarm clock, Jimmie. Think about that shit. You grabbed the nearest thing to strangle with, and that's
far down the list of murder weapons.
That's like
really.
Serial killer shit. Like, I dropped my knife. I was grab this and strangle this person so they can't identify me. That's crazy. Hit her in the back of the head with a 5-gallon bucket at one point, and stabbed her in the arm with a fork. Also threw a knife at her from across the room at one point as well, like kind of like like knife throwing style.
I'm gonna go ahead
and missed her.
Go out on a limb and say this one's over.
He's kind of a dick, this guy. Not even kind of. He is a fucking monster, this Harold here. No wonder. And you go, that's why 5 other women divorced him, or 4 other women divorced him. That's the reason why.
He's the problem.
Yes. It's clear that he's the issue here. So, also, he, basically, it's more than a dozen attacks between winter of 1990 and September of 1991.
Yeah.
So 10 months, and we're talking over a dozen attacks, including, so more than one a month, including ones that required medical treatment, obviously the broken toe, and other occasions. On one occasion, she was in a wheelchair for 3 days, and she never filed charges against him, refused to file charges because I'm sure she was afraid of him if he's threatening to kill her, and strangling her with alarm clock cords. And
what are charges going to do? Just piss him off?
So I'm sure she was scared of him, and she kept saying she loves him, and she's happy with him. She said she loves him because she's abused, and she's got that mindset, and it's fucking sad. So Heather, this doesn't end with just Betty either, because Heather, the daughter, she says that Harold once slapped her so hard he drew blood, so made her lip bleed from a slap, which is
motherfucker.
Yeah, at 13 years old. No. No. Don't slap your fucking kids. And don't slap your little girl.
No.
Once in a while, your boy might need a pop in the back of the head, but not your little girl. Don't slap your little girl. Especially if you're a guy.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how can I fuck my little girl up forever and, set her up for a life of fucking abusiveness? And I guess I'll slap her till she bleeds when she's fucking assholes, man. People realize that shit? Don't they think for a second to do they ever put their actions down the road a little bit? Like,
never.
If I roll this ball, it'll keep rolling and bang into that. Do they ever fucking think of that shit?
No, you just throw the rock in the water. The ripples look cool.
Fuck, man.
My daughter, if I tickle her too hard, like if I puncture her? No, I didn't do that.
Puncturing?
I poke her in the ribs.
Yeah.
So like that little shock.
If you puncture her.
Yeah, I punctured her side.
Yeah, I punctured her side and unicorns flew out.
Poke her and make her. I try to tickle her. Like if I poke her too hard and hit that pressure point and she cries, I lose my shit for hours. I feel like
you're supposed to feel bad. Yeah. He also had threatened to kill both Heather and Betty together.
Right.
Obviously, it's a package deal.
Yeah.
He gets mad. He threatens to kill them separately, but then when they're together, that's a family moment. Mm-hmm. When Dad threatens to kill mom and daughter at the same time.
It's a real double date.
It's very nice. She said she has only seen her mother with a gun one time, and that was when she was going to kill herself. Her daughter says, quote, "She was going to kill herself. I asked her what was going to happen to me if she did that, and then she stopped." So
brilliant.
She cares about her kids, definitely Heather that's still here. Harold would yell and complain about housekeeping, how meals were cooked, and if chores were not done correctly. This is at both Betty and Heather, he would yell, because Heather had chores as well. He made threats to kill them both, like we said. She also said her stepfather, or her father at that point, carried guns around the house.
In the house?
In the house.
Like walking around with it?
Yeah. Also, he would just kick her for no reason sometimes. Yeah. She said that she'd see her mother get kicked for no reason. Heather says, quote, "I was scared of my dad because he kicked her. She never hit back, but she would try to get away and cry." Yeah. Jesus Christ. She said that she never did anything about it because she was scared of her stepdad, obviously.
She's a child.
Yeah. She said, quote, "He pulled me out of my bedroom by my hair because my room wasn't clean enough. He just pulled harder if I said anything. And he also hit her with a leather belt."
Oh, my God.
Yeah. She said that, he said, quote, "He said I was stupid. He called me Little Betty." Because he always called her stupid and a cow and all this other shit. He called her a fat cow all the time. Okay. She also says, quote, "I felt like a slave. If you didn't do something he wanted, you got yelled at and got hit." So, yeah, she said she was pretty much always scared. She did say there was times he was nice as well, as a lot of abusers are, because how else do they reel you in for a second? And that one thought of, oh, they're nice to me, that's the trust that gets you to come, and that way they can fucking hit you and surprise you.
If they're always an asshole,
what they do.
You leave.
That's what I mean. Right. You leave or you do something, but that little fucking thing is what they... Oh, man, they can tell. They have a sixth sense, these fucking predators.
There's a treat. There's a reason that you stay.
Yeah. And, it's a psychological reason that you don't know what it is. Right. That's the thing. It sucks. So, one time, one of his daughter-in-laws was there, one of his multiple kids' wives. She was staying there with them, and she saw Harold walking around with a handgun in his belt and one in his back. Around the house.
2 guns in the house?
In the house, just walking around.
2 of them?
2 of them. Just your daughter-in-law, your teenage adopted daughter, and your wife there.
Just in case any of you 3 bitches get out of hand.
All these bitches gonna bum rush me. I'm gonna have to put them down. Like, no, this isn't the OK Corral. Relax, dude.
Calm down.
Calm the fuck down. The daughter-in-law said, quote, "I had to leave because there was a lot of name-calling and arguing. He was calling her names like fat cow and fat bitch."
Okay.
So that's who we're dealing with. Exactly. So
that's heavy, man.
That's real heavy. Now, September 29th, 1991, Harold loses his wallet. Okay. She's pissed because Betty doesn't want to help him look for it. Loses his wallet. He at one point says that he said he was packing up to go somewhere. He at one point tells him, "You and Heather, if it takes you all day, you're going to spend all day looking for my wallet because I need to find my wallet. That's what's going to happen." And he pointed a gun at her to cement it.
Drive the point
If
home.
not, I'll shoot you, because now it's escalated from I'll call you names to I'll hit you to I'll kick you to I'll fucking stab you with a fork to I'll threaten you with a knife to now I point a gun in your face when you don't want to look for a wallet. So that's an escalation is what that is. And it's fucking pretty gross. So, that night, that same night, there was they were hanging out, Betty and Harold, and one of Harold's friends was there, and one of the antique people, and he joked in front of the friend that he could, quote, "chop his wife up and his adopted daughter up and spread them out on the farm with the corn chopper." That's what he says. He's like, if I wanted to get rid of them, I'll just kill her and her kid and put them in the corn chopper and spread them all over the farm. And they were laughing, and that was a big joke to them.
So this is a 1912 grandfather clock.
Yeah, this is a big joke to them.
What the fuck?
To the girls, not so much a joke. Right. To the ladies, because, they are deathly afraid of him. Right. So that's how it works.
And this gong dates back to the Peking dynasty.
That's amazing. By the way, I think when I kill my daughter, I should put all her stuff and chop that up, too, because they're going to look for her, right? So I should probably put all that in there. Identification, that sort of thing, right? So September 30th, 1991, Betty's having a normal day. She has a business meeting that day with her boss.
Right.
Shows up, does her business meeting here. It's her boss at the Bankers Life and Casualty, which is a Cedar Rapids company. And, so that was that. She did her normal thing. Nobody hears much, but then a few days after September 5th, or September 30th, she tells her boss that her husband's missing. Yeah. She says, Harold's gone. Harold's missing. So her boss is like, wow, that's weird. Very strange here. The boss thought the guy was a dick anyway. He says that basically when they were on the phone, whenever the boss was on the phone with Betty, he could hear hear him in the background, quote, harassing her and giving her shit.
While she's on the phone with her boss.
With her boss, giving her shit, talking, calling her names.
Wow.
She can't even be on that's, I mean, he does not hide it at all. That's her boss. There's friends over, her daughters. He's fucking impunity. He just fucking doesn't care.
He just call you a fat pig?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to need that quota of 30 policies by the end of the month.
He's like, you fat bitch, bro. And she's like, so I closed the deal with the Johnson family.
I wrote 3 new policies.
They're all up for dismemberment insurance.
Shut up, you fat pig!
They're all very scared of dismemberment. I know. Yes, okay. So they're very scared of dismemberment.
Another crack in the foundation!
Okay, please. I'm going to have to go soon. But those policies are really... It's not funny, but it's fucking disturbing. That's the point.
Happened.
Why would you do that?
Right.
That's there's...
How is the boss?
Most people do shit, at least gross shit in private.
Right.
You know what I mean? Fuck,
it's
man.
It's just so blatant and
people
obvious.
Don't molest kids in the middle of the street.
No, it's very
for
rare.
a fucking reason. You know, you don't fucking act like this to your wife. It's ever, but especially this is crazy.
Usually it's in the shower.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmie had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So he wants to embarrass her and show her that, where the power is. So October 8th, 1991, Harold's still gone. Betty reports him missing. She said, I don't know, Harold's gone.
Yeah.
October 8th, she calls the cops and said, he's missing. She tells the cops, last I saw him was on October 7th. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting because she told her boss he was missing since the 2nd, I want to say. So there's 5 days that go by where missing, but she doesn't report it till then. Then she says, though, I didn't see him. Last I saw him was yesterday. So there's a discrepancy there. She said that he left to go antiquing with an unknown man in a white van.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Those white vans are dangerous.
Antiquing, though, that's what you might do. Hop in a van with some guy and go look for shit in a barn. I don't know. So that seems believable for him. That's something he might have done. So they go, all right, well, left the farm with a white van, people she didn't know. She said that he said he was going to Illinois on, quote, antique business. Okay. So business from a long time ago.
Yeah.
Antique business.
Old business we're going to figure out and get over with here.
She said that she got a telephone call while he was gone from an anonymous man saying that Harold was in a hospital and could not contact her. So that's what's wrong. Hey, Harold's in the hospital. That's why he hasn't gotten a hold of you. I'm sure he'll get a hold of you when he's out of the hospital. That was the phone call she got, she said. So he's missing. He apparently was in the hospital at some point. Who the fuck knows here?
A vague-ass phone call.
It's very vague. So, they're trying to figure out what happened. They asked Heather, maybe if Heather knows anything. Heather didn't know shit, she said. She said that, when the day that he left and was missing, September 30th, was since then, she said that she went to bed super early because she had helped, with the harvest corn, helping harvest corn. Yeah, she was harvesting corn. She said that her job was to make sure things went right, at that point, I guess, for the corn.
Okay.
I don't know how you do that. I'm not a corn person. So she said that she got up before 6 a.m. that day to get ready for school, and she never saw Harold at all that day. Just didn't. She said, quote, I went to the bedroom door, and Mom told me to stop because he wanted to sleep until 8 o'clock. So she said when she left, he was still sleeping. And she said, don't come in. He wants to stay asleep. He said not to wake him up till 8 o'clock. Right. So she said she got home from school, and her mother told her that Harold had left to go antiquing with some guy in a white van. Okay. She said that he just went antiquing all the way over to Illinois. So Heather said she doesn't remember much else from that week. She stayed at the home of her friend for a couple of days, just because she does that anyway. She remembered helping clean the garage. At that one point, she said, "quote All I did was carry out the trash," and she said her mom was sweeping and scrubbing the garage floor, and that's what she said. So she was helping her with that. And she said her daughter, that was all. She went and hung out with her friends. Nothing seemed awry except they were doing some cleaning and, corn harvesting.
For ones doing it on their own.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
corn harvesting, though, James, they're very particular about that shit.
Apparently so. Yeah. You got to make sure everything goes right, as she said.
You ever eaten corn around somebody that shit means something to them? If you eat that corn wrong, you will hear about it.
I've never.
You are supposed to drag your teeth across that corn cob and pull the shit into your mouth. That's the way you do it. Long ways, fucking drag your... That's how they do it.
Okay.
And if you don't, you'll get yelled at or called the pussy.
Or you can just not go to Iowa. I've avoided that my whole life.
I got friends from Nebraska that make fun of me. But
too.
Because I cut the corn off the fucking cob because it's much easier to push in your fucking mouth.
As you know, Omaha, my favorite town. Jesus Christ.
It's a big deal, that
if
corn.
Anybody said anything to me about corn there, I go, have you been to your fucking state? Fuck you. How about this? You're doing all of that wrong. I'm eating corn wrong. You're doing it all wrong. Fuck corn. This place is awful.
Right.
Are you kidding me? Jesus Christ, man. You get in a goddamn car, everybody talks about it. Just, I know where Warren Buffett lives. Well, great. Whoop-de-doo. Thanks.
Did he give you anything?
Jesus Christ.
Shut the fuck up.
I heard he's a nice guy. Whoa, well then. Thanks. That's why the city exists.
Right.
Fuck out of here.
I heard you eat at a mattress factory, you weirdos.
Fucking strange people. I remember that. So the deputies come to, they did some preliminary whatever, and they come to get some more information. When you report a missing person, they come and talk to you and say, get all the information, who are all his friends, phone numbers, things they can follow up on. So they come the next day. 2 deputies went to the farm after she filed the report, and they talk to her for a while, and she gives them, this and that. And then they also talk to Heather, and Heather told them that weird thing, that the only thing I can think of that's weird around here lately is if you go out like in the field here in the garden by the house, way back there, there's a bunch of cats that won't go away that seem to be eating some kind of meat back there, which is strange. Wow. So I don't know. You might want to. That's the only weird thing I have. So deputies were like, we got nothing else to go on. They went to the garden and they looked around a little bit, shooed the cats away. And they found what they thought might be flesh.
Oh.
Like
flesh pants. They're coming up early this year.
That's the whole flesh crop is coming in. That's the thing. And if you don't harvest them right on time, it just rots away.
Terrible.
It's not good. So
brings in the cats.
That's what happens. The cats are here. Oh, shit. The cats are in.
We didn't get it.
Damn it.
We didn't go out there and get it.
We're going to move to Iowa, and we're going to grow flesh plants. But I'm going to put up a cat fence. Problem is, you got to put it up high because they can climb and jump. So
electrify that shit.
Maybe you do them out so they can't get around it.
Like a prison.
Yeah, like a prison. That way the cats can't get in. Otherwise, your flesh crops are fucked. So the next morning, the sheriff's office organizes a search around the area, and they find some things. Okay. Some things like a torso.
Uh-oh.
Like a human torso. And also other pieces of flesh, of what they describe as flesh. This criminal investigation agent describes finding body parts all over the farm. Basically, he was moving body parts found around the farm and placed them in body bags to be brought to Des Moines for analysis.
A bunch of them.
Picking parts up here and there, chunks of flesh, things. It looked like he exploded. Like somebody exploded on the farm. Like somebody got packed with dynamite and just fucking exploded. Like, there's a foot over there. Shit.
It just came apart.
Flesh and intestines and shit. They took photographs of this. In the photographs is a picture of a torso, just a random arm that they found south of the machine shed. A close-up of the torso had the red plaid flannel shirt on the arm from the torso, so they had the same matching shirt going on the torso. Right? Yeah. And a right arm and a portion of the right chest also, and 2 bottom halves of legs they found from the knees down, with shoes and socks on.
Yeah, he just blew up.
He exploded, dude. You know what? He's an angry guy.
Yeah.
You know when you see like in a cartoon when it bubbles, bubbles and bubbles? Yeah. Maybe you spontaneously, you've seen scanners, right? Yeah. Maybe it's a whole body thing. Just
was he
poof.
Like letting it out randomly on the wife? You realize if I don't punch you, I'm going to explode.
They're going to find my fucking torso 2 farms over. Then what you going to do, huh? Who's going to can the orchard goods? I know you ain't gonna do it, you fat whore, lazy bitch cow. Asshole this guy is. Yeah, so anyway, we don't know if it's him yet. So anyway.
Somebody blew up.
Somebody exploded. Yeah. Knees down with shoes and socks on. A large piece of flesh that the police assumed were, quote, the genitals with a large piece of abdomen attached.
Oh, no.
Oh, this is like a Wolverine attack, this person. The guy in charge collected some evidence. He said after placing the body parts in bags, and I assume throwing up and just reflecting on his life choices
really
and what he's decided to
go to college?
Jesus Christ, this is fucking.
Is this a spleen? It's a spleen, isn't it?
He said, "Who wants to be an investigator?" Right. And I went, I do. I could be pulling people over, giving them tickets right now. This would be much easier.
Instead, I got a larynx in my left hand.
Fuck. That's the good hand. The other hand, I have a piece of abdomen in this man's fucking exploded genitalia. So he also took fingerprints from parked cars and from the door frames of the house and from, all that shit as you would do in an investigation of somebody being taken or killed or something like that. So they take him in. It is Harold Freeberg, we find out. Investigators also find a 38 caliber revolver and a 28 and a 22 caliber revolver there as well in the house. Now, but there's guns all over the house because it's a farm, and he carried a bunch of guns too. 4 slugs are removed from Harold's body during the autopsy. So maybe he didn't explode.
Exploding rounds.
4 slugs were taken. A 38 slug taken from the body matched the gun found in the room where he was found, where he initially was. And also, they said it's highly probable that the 22 caliber slugs came from the other gun found in the room. He shot with 2 different calibers.
Wow.
He shot with 2 different guns.
Yeah.
So now they're like,
2 people?
Yeah, 2 different guns, usually 2 people.
2 hands?
So they found...
That's a cowboy.
They found a 3rd gun. Duck Holiday did it. I knew it. I got 2 guns, 1 for each of you. It's fucking...
I was seeing Willem Dafoe from Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
Where he's like, 1 gun, and then he like crosses them over.
Yeah.
And then he sees it happen in his head, and then he goes, got us a cowboy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Pussy compared to Duck Holiday.
Shit.
Yeah, ain't shit.
That was Rocco.
Yeah, damn it. No.
Duck Holiday.
They also found a 3rd gun, a 22 caliber revolver, in a shed across the road to the east of the home.
Okay.
So they have all these guns. When they do the autopsy, they do find out shot 4 times with 2 different weapons at the farm here. They said that Harold's heart, other internal organs, and genitalia were removed, and the body was dismembered with a knife and a power saw. That's what the autopsy concluded. Whoa.
Who's mad at him?
Whoa.
That's a lot of rage.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Wow. That's fuck, dude. Removed everything.
Like a chainsaw or like a bandsaw or a fucking table saw?
A circular saw, I think. Like a power saw
boy.
to be cleaner. Chainsaw is going to be messy and throw shit everywhere. Limbs were cut from the body, most likely with, quote, a power handsaw used in construction or home woodworking.
Holy
is what the autopsy said. Jesus Christ. The right arm was severed at the shoulder and the right leg at the hip. Shot 4 times in the neck, back, and chest, by the way. Back is one of the places he was shot. Neck, chest, and back. 2 distinctly different types of bullets were recovered, and the bullets were not the same caliber as we found. So they bring Betty in to talk to her.
Yeah.
Maybe she knows who could have possibly done
you
this.
You had to heard something, Betty. At least 4 gunshots and a fucking bandsaw?
And the antique business is a cutthroat business. Let's be honest here. You sell somebody some brass candelabra and it turns out to be fucking bullshit.
Right.
It's not actually from 1845. Guess what? Yeah. 2 guns, 1 for each of you.
Right.
It's fucking on, bitch.
This shit wasn't on the Titanic.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I mean, we all know most farmer/antiquers meet their end this way.
Right.
This is, it's like whether you're trafficking cocaine like in the 70s in Colombia or if you're a farmer/antiquer, eventually someone's going to sever your legs and arms from your body.
Titanic my ass. It's Carnival Cruises.
It's fucking exactly right. So they bring Betty in. Betty, what the fuck? Do you know anything about this? What could possibly be? Who could have done this, Betty? Do you have any information? And she does. Mm-hmm. She has plenty of information, as a matter of fact. She said that, Harold basically said that pulled her out of bed in the middle of the night, yelling and screaming at her. So that's how you want to be awoken. Getting pulled out of bed to be screamed at for no reason.
It's a damn good way to get yourself murdered, though.
Demanding that she go with him to the basement to help him pack for a trip he was making in connection with the antique business. She said, and this is, they taped all this because they tape everything whenever anybody's talking. She said, quote, he had a gun in his hand and he said he was going to kill me. So she said that she, at that point, grabbed 2 handguns lying on a piece of furniture and blasted away with both guns, she said. Yeah. She said, quote, I think I closed my eyes and just pulled the triggers.
Great shot.
So she hit him 4 fucking times. Yeah. She says that the next morning, after seeing her daughter off to school, that's why the daughter didn't know what was going on. After seeing the daughter off to school, she went to Grand Rapids to handle some affairs for the insurance company and went and picked her daughter up and ate some fast food.
Yeah.
Fucking went about.
Still in the bedroom?
Went about her business in the basement, all shot up, went about her business. And then on the tape, she says the next day, she pulled him up onto the big table, which is, it's a farm, so it has a big table for, those big round that
the kitchen?
That you take deer apart with and shit.
Yeah.
She said she got him up onto there and she said she spent 6 hours cutting him up.
Yeah.
All by herself.
I would assume it would take that long.
She said, quote, I saw it at Harold's leg. She said, I used the knife and I cut his legs off at the knees.
Ooh.
She said that she remembers cutting one arm off and placing his intestines in a plastic bag and disposing of them near a water well on the farm. She said that Harold once had, the day before, had threatened to cut her up and place her remains in the well, so she just did it that way. She thought that was right.
It's a good place, Harold.
Yeah. Then she said, quote, I took the torso across the road south of the machine shed in a small red wagon. She fucking told... She transported the body parts all over the farm using a child's little Red Arrow wagon. Yeah. That's what she used.
A little Red Rider.
Little Red Rider wagon. She's pulling a fucking severed torso in. How amazing is that?
She better have been skipping.
Sweet 5 foot tall little farm lady with her high and tight church do. Fucking pulling a red wagon. Oh, look at this. Isn't that sweet? What do you have in there? Baked goods for the church sale? Oh, my God. It's a fucking torso. Jesus Christ. What is that? Oh, God. I see tendons. Oh, God in heaven. It's still clothed. Oh, there's maggots. Oh, my God. It's still got clothes on. She said, quote, I might have also used the Lincoln, the family car, as well to scatter things. I don't remember for sure, she said. That's the other thing, too. She's... Got parts missing out of this.
Oh, I'm sure.
She said, I've tried to blank it out of my mind. Yeah, she said she waited till her daughter went to bed that night, and that's when she dismembered him while her daughter slept.
She's using a power saw.
Yep, she described using a power saw in a room in the basement to cut off both legs and dragged the body to the garage and cut off one of the arms. That's why she was cleaning the garage.
Yeah.
And her daughter was like, I remember Mom scrubbing the floor in the garage. Just thought it was like spring cleaning. No, she was cleaning the blood off the floor of the fucking garage.
Wow.
That's what she was doing. She's like, no, dear, it's okay. Yeah, everything's fine.
Hope we find him.
Sandwiches in the fridge if you're hungry, so... I don't know where he is. Those damn antiques. It's a cruel mistress, those antiques.
Concrete is really washing up red.
Oh,
that's
boy.
Weird.
Yeah, cut off one of the arms. Her explanation for dismembering the body, including cutting off the genitals, which seems personal, was that I'm little. It made it easier to move. He said, I couldn't move his whole body all around the farm. I only could do it in pieces.
It's a great point.
It's a point. She's 5 feet tall.
Right.
What's she going to do? She's not a big, giant woman. And on the tape, she describes taking some of the parts across the road to a field using the red wagon. It was her daughter's red wagon, too. It was literally her kid's red wagon.
This'll work.
Hey, let me take this doll out and all this stuff. Dollies and teddy bears and shit, and put a torso in it.
It's already red.
That's perfect.
Great.
Not going to even show up. She transported some of the parts in the Lincoln, and all of the body parts were scattered around in a field and around the farm, basically just in a circle around the house, wherever she went. She said that she, quote, spread the body parts around the farm and then went about her business for the rest of the week. That's what she did. I mean, they're trying to figure out why, obviously.
Yeah.
Blind rage, I would say.
Yeah.
Rage of fear that finally just instead of fear, it came out as fucking aggression, which, I mean, yeah.
Had enough.
Yeah. She says, though, that she blacked out all of this and that she, at one point, she actually believed her husband was missing. She didn't even really know that she did all this, she said.
Herself.
She convinced herself. After she dismembered the body, though, she picked her daughter up from school. She went and got her hair done. And got dinner at a fast food restaurant. So, very nice.
Yeah.
You got to get all the brain out of your hair when you're dismembering a guy, you know? That's what I always do.
It might be bone fragment.
Well, on The Sopranos, whenever they'd kill a guy and cut him up, they'd go get a big giant steak. That was like their,
murder steak.
There was their murder steak here. But this is a different thing. This is you get your murder due.
Mm-hmm.
Got my hair murder did.
So housewives do.
Did it up murder style. So after confessing to the killing, she's very nice about the whole thing, too. Very pleasant to the officers. She leads the officers to both the guns she used. She's like, here they are. I used both these guns. They were stashed behind some boxes at the farm. They never found them until later. She also said, here's the power saw I used, which was found under a bag of charcoal in the shed. They hadn't seen that either, but they found it now. So they're holding her. They're like, we're going to hang on to you, Betty. We're going to do a little, looking into this, but it seems like you're probably going to jail, I would say.
This is murder.
That's a lot of stuff you just did here. So she's being held on a $500,000 bond. So reactions to this are like, Blah, blah, blah. Like I said, 17 years, no murder or anything like that. The cops say they don't have any motives, I would say. The prosecutor, who's going to be the prosecutor here, Ann Taylor is her name, she said, quote, yes, it is. I find it, that's why she got out of the legal business and had to do something else.
I got to start making dresses and shit.
Jesus. I personally find it very disturbing. I think that regardless of what anyone was like, nobody deserves something like this. This whole thing is unfathomable to me. Which, a lot of people had that same reaction. Friends and acquaintances saw nothing in her character that thought that she would be capable of this. One of the insurance agents she worked with said, quote, that is not the Betty Freeberg I know. Mm-hmm. No shit. You mean you never knew her to dismember anybody and scatter their fucking body parts around a farm? No shit.
Did he have dismemberment insurance?
We'll talk about it, Jimmy.
I hope he did.
We're going to talk about it. No. She sold dismemberment insurance. Right. I mean, this is amazing. This guy described her as soft-spoken, nice, and pleasant, one of the sweetest people I've ever worked with. She's the type of person you could never get angry with. She's the last person in the world that any of us would imagine would be involved in something like this. In the back of my mind, I kept thinking that they must have made a mistake. Yeah. Now, Harold's other wives, they talked to them. The Jenabelle Spees said, quote, it's blown my mind. I can't understand any of this. Really? So, yeah, that's how that goes.
Were you married to the man?
That's what I mean.
Don't you remember?
I'm sure you wanted to do this, probably. The mayor of Batavia, which is the town next door over, knew Harold real well.
Really?
This guy, by the way, how much of an asshole do you have to be to say this in the paper, knowing that what an abusive twat this fucking guy was.
Right.
He said, quote, I can't understand it. Even if she was driven out of her mind by something, it doesn't make sense. He described Harold as a workaholic who took pride in his business. He says, quote, he was boisterous, but kind of reserved about certain things. He was kind of a halfway loner.
Somebody get to that mayor's wife and rescue her.
Yeah, because
if that
great
shit's
guy.
Okay, then what does he do to his wife?
That's what I mean.
Jesus. What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying.
You can't say that stuff.
So it's been a bad month for Iowa. Apparently there's been a bunch of homicides in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, no.
And the state investigatory division is like fucking overwhelmed by it because they're not used to this much homicide in Iowa.
Murder cops are busy.
They're calling it Black October. Black October.
Yeah.
They said the heavy caseload is compounded by state budget cuts and the increase of legalized gambling, which has reduced the number of agents available for criminal cases because they have to keep an eye on that. And medical examiners said, quote, it's tearing them apart. The crime lab people going to work these cases are spread so thin. I know for a fact that the DCI is stretched to a breaking point. Something has to be done, and I hope the legislature addresses it this year. The homicides, all of them have been in rural areas. That's why.
Really?
Yeah, when shit happens in rural areas, people don't expect it. So, like, the cops have they have to fucking solve it because these people are like, no. There's 360 of us. Figure out who killed that person.
Right.
That's it. It's not random.
Yeah.
Figure it out. They said, quote, when something like this comes up, it shocks people back to reality that it's a pretty violent world out there. We're not all that experienced in Iowa with murder. Not like Chicago or Miami, where newscasters can tell the grisly details and smile afterwards because they've gotten so hardened. What are they supposed to do? Cry and go to the fucking funeral? The reporters.
If they cried, they would still be crying when they interview us after 3 murder stories.
Well, they do that. They go, let's go to you. Hey, guys. Hi.
Bus careened off the road into a building.
The bus, that footage, literally a man firing a machine gun in the street at other people. A fucking bus missing a turn and careening into a fucking building. And they're like, and now these guys.
And a drowned baby.
No, not a drowned baby. The people in San Francisco that had like 10 children that they kept abused and starved in their house. We'll have more on that. But first... let's talk to these two dickheads who have a podcast about murder. Hey, guys. How's it go?
What's so funny about murder?
Well, nothing about the ones you just showed. Jesus, that was just sad.
Fucking jerks.
Fucking assholes, man. God damn it. You guys are dicks.
That lady couldn't hate us more.
No, she couldn't.
She was so mad at
So
us.
we were dicks back. It was fun. She hated us, man. Because we were laughing at her questions. Right. Like, you're ridiculous. I'm like, do you know what you just showed?
You just did something horrific to us, and you don't even realize, or you do, and you're complicit, which makes you worse.
Either way, you suck.
You're a fucking
it's like
jerk.
Casino. either you were in on it, or you're too dumb to fucking know what was happening, or you're in on it. Either way, you're out. Fuck you. So, Jesus. October 18th, 1991, Betty pleads not guilty.
Okay.
So she pleads not guilty to this.
Not with like an explanation, just, I did all this, not guilty.
Not guilty. After she just, yep, she's saying self-defense.
Okay.
She's not doing battered wife syndrome, that whole thing. It's self-defense here, so whatever. So pre-trial, they talk about the guns that were found. Harold's, let's see here, the Betty Freeberg here, once she's arrested, they find that the attorneys are trying to suppress her confession, saying that it was illegally obtained. Judge says, no. It's a good confession. It's all on tape. It's coming in. So the jury's going to hear the whole tape along with photographs as she's describing it. So that is graphic as fuck.
Yeah.
Photographs of a fucking torso that's been sitting out in a field for a week is not good.
And then the other half that still has the dick attached to it.
Here's his dick with his abdomen piece there. It's not great. But, who cares?
I also feel for Harold because people are going to see this is horrible.
He deserves it, I think. He deserves for people to see his dismembered dick fucking displayed for people because he's an asshole. Yeah. I mean, he's been abusing people for 40 fucking years. Right. He's dragging teenagers out of bed by their hair. He's fucking beating his wife and sexually abusing her. Fuck this guy.
This might be the classiest way some of his neighbors ever seen him.
That's what I mean. Yeah. No shit. Makes me look at him in a whole different way. So, now, Heather's, they're talking about Heather here because they're talking about whether she's going to testify or not as well. Now, her lawyer, Tom Walter, he didn't want to talk to reporters about this, but he did file a notice of two possible defense strategies: that she killed her husband to protect herself, and that she had diminished responsibility because of her mental state. Okay. Those are her two angles here. They said she's a meek woman who sold insurance from home. None of her friends said she's like this, and all that sort of shit here. So the prosecutor really wants to nail this one because it's the first fucking murder in 17 years in the county. Yeah. So they're like, we got to really make an example of old Betty here.
Slam dunk.
God forbid. She said that they were asking the prosecutor, do you think that they're going to go basically on like a battered wife type of defense? And she said, that wouldn't surprise me at all if that's what it was. They did say that I would say this will be a highly attended trial relative to anything else we've ever had here. Yeah. So there is a motion, like I said, to suppress the confession, and they said no, wouldn't do that. So the trial comes up in March of 1992.
Yeah.
Okay. Trial is 3 weeks long.
Okay.
Here, all right? So it's a long fucking trial, actually.
A lot of pictures.
3 weeks. Most people's trials don't last that long.
Right.
The prosecution, trying to frame the whole thing. So the prosecution said, quote, it's not self-defense when someone has their back to you and you shoot them. When you proceed not to call the police, when you hide the guns, dismember the body, spread the parts around, and then tell people for a week how he went off with some person in a white van.
Right.
So they're really trying to make her look bad, obviously, as prosecutors tend to do.
Yeah.
They're not
their job.
They're not going to get up there and go, listen, obviously there's some circumstances. They're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt, unfortunately. They said that part of their case is that a lawyer testifies from Libertyville that the couple had changed Harold's will in 1991, in June of 91. This is stuff that she doesn't really want coming out. Dave Miller was his name. He said the new will meant that Betty would receive more money if her husband died, but there's strings attached to it. One of the new terms was that he and Betty were trustees of the will. So basically, the new will was rewritten to make Betty the primary beneficiary. Before it was his kids.
Oh.
Now in June, it's her. His antiques collection is valued at $100,000.
What?
Not bad. He had 3 life insurance policies worth $245,000, and he has debts of $200,000. So, you're looking at $145,000 after net
it's all
there.
said and done.
Yeah. According to the new will, 6 of his children would each receive $1. So, not just cut him out completely.
Yeah.
really stick it to him.
Really piss on him.
And Betty would receive the rest of the estate after the debts were paid. They said that the lawyer said that Betty told him that they decided to change the will because Harold wasn't getting along with his children, and his children said that they are going to contest that will because, if it's changed to the beneficiary then kills the guy 3 months later, it's like, hey, come on, can we go back to the old will? So the defense for this here, they say that they bring in his ex-wives, and they say that he was physically abusive to at least 3 of the 4 of his ex-wives. So that's a good pattern. A defense attorney also said in his opening remarks here that, basically painted the picture of Harold as an abusive person, and there's risks to doing that in a trial, obviously, because anytime you have the dead person, they're always going to be technically the victim. So when you're saying they're a bad person, but if you frame them bad enough, you have to go past that to the point where they go, he kind of deserved it. Like that's where the lawyer has to go to put the jurors in the mind of like, is there any other way out, basically. So, they said that the abuse culminated September 29th when he pointed a gun at her, when she refused to help look for a wallet. And the lawyer said, quote, all the things that she had held in came bubbling into a rage. And they said that she dismembered the body and cut portions of the body, quote, until the rage subsided. But she didn't do it till the next day, though.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's
tough to.
She went to sleep and drove her kid to school and shit, and then did it. So it's a lot of rage. Quote: once the rage was spent, Betty simply gave up, is what he said. Which she kind of did. She just confessed and all that sort of shit. She tried to hide it for a minute, though. Betty believed Harold was going to kill her, is what he says when he pointed she's saying he pointed a gun at her in the basement. He said Betty Freeberg acted in self-defense. Quote, she picked up 2 guns from the table, pointed, closed her eyes, and fired. And obviously the Jefferson County prosecutor has a different take on it. In their take, they say that she planned the killing of the husband in cold blood and dismembered the body to cover up the crime, which is another way of looking at it.
That's the way you got to look at it.
But
as a prosecutor,
if it's a prosecutor, otherwise you should quit.
Right. You can't, as a prosecutor, walk in and be like, "She is a battered wife."
It's not going to work as a prosecutor. That's the thing. Prosecutors have to
forced her hand.
Yeah, it's like debate club or something where you have to just take the side you're given and act like that's your opinion, whether it is or not. So. Now, she says, she talks to a psychiatrist who becomes a huge, major cog of this case, basically. And the psychiatrist says that she remembers very little about her childhood, but she does recall 3 instances where she was sexually abused as a child. One where she was about 9 years old and forced to have intercourse with a male acquaintance in a barn. After he finished, he pulled a hammer out of his pants and said that if she told anyone, he would smash her and her sister with the hammer. Oh, Lord. Jesus Christ. That's disturbing. The psychiatrist said she has a tendency to blame herself for things that have happened to her, which is exactly what I'm saying. You had it right on the nose with that. He recounted Betty telling him about a year of abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse inflicted on her, sexual abuse, everything. He said at one point when she threatened to leave, she said, quote, Harold told her that he had connections everywhere, and that when he found her, he would make her watch them cut off. He would make her watch them cut off her daughter's fingers joint by joint. Wow. So that's what she's threatening. That if you leave, I'm going to have people find your daughter and torture her by cutting her fucking.
That's crazy.
Betty said, well, we have dismemberment insurance, so in the end, we're going to come out on top on that. That's not what happened.
I'm going to buy a car.
That's not what happened, but that's.
What a terrible man.
That is disturbing.
That's a bad thought.
So, psychiatrist testified that Betty told him that she would not have killed her husband if she knew that the gun he had wasn't loaded. And the other problem is when they find the gun, it doesn't have his fingerprints on it either.
Oh, no.
That's not great. It has no fingerprints. None of his prints are on it.
And he's shot in the back. That's not good.
That's not good. The gun was not loaded, his gun that she claimed he had, and she said that if I knew the gun wasn't loaded, I wouldn't have shot him. I was afraid for my life here. So the doctor testifies also that she told him about the cutting up of the body and all that sort of thing. But he says that she has dissociated herself from the incident. And in her mind, it's kind of like somebody else did it. It's some like weird floating blob of some shit that happened, but not to her.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like a memory from a movie or something. Like
that sounds like something that somebody that killed somebody that doesn't have murder in them.
Yes.
Would say.
Yeah. That's not normally a murderer.
She's not a murderer.
Yeah.
She murdered.
And then she's trying not to remember it because that didn't sit well with her probably because she's a normal person.
Because that was tough to see.
Yeah. And we were with a guy a few weeks ago in Illinois there, had no problem.
Oh, he didn't have this.
Well, no, not at all. He remembered every second of it gloriously.
And thank God he did.
While he jerked off, he remembered every second of it. Yeah, that's the thing. His shit got real specific.
Right, because the porn stars kept retiring.
Fuck, that's what happens. He says, see what happens? Ladies, stick with it, is what we're saying. He said that everything she told him is consistent with someone who didn't plan to shoot her husband. He also said that her bizarre behavior following the shooting is consistent with people trying to block an event out of their mind, just going along with normal business. But he also said he also conceded when asked by the prosecutor, yes, that's also how people try to cover shit up by acting like everything's fine.
Yeah, there's
goes both ways. It just wonders whatever way your brain is doing it.
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
I love it when they're like, and then he went and got ice cream.
Yeah.
Well, he told somebody he was going to go get ice cream.
He went to work the next day.
If he didn't go to work, it'd be fucking
that's
obvious.
That's why. Yeah, it's obvious. He tried to cover it up. Well, yeah, he fucking killed somebody. Right. Obviously, he tried to cover it up, wouldn't you? Jesus.
It's very rare that they kill people and then jump on their house with a flag and say, everybody, listen.
Check it out.
Look what I did.
I did it. So the medical examiner testified how Harold was dismembered and exactly how it was done in graphic detail, showing the slides and everything of the pictures of him being. It's graphic shit. That's, if you're in the jury, that's got to be like, ooh. Now Betty ends up testifying on her own behalf.
All right.
She's got no choice.
Yeah.
She's got to testify because her whole case is that she was scared of Harold and that's why she did it. So if the jury believes that, it's self-defense. If they don't believe it, if they just, if she's some figure that's been painted whatever way, she's got to paint herself the way she wants to paint herself. It's the only way to do this.
Midwest Jody Arias.
That's right. Well, except
for marriage.
Except for the fact that I think Harold probably deserved it.
Yeah, but I'm saying in the courtroom.
In the courtroom, yeah.
It's very similar. Yeah.
So Betty gets on the witness stand. And she said that she remembered a lot of the gruesome details during the sessions with a psychiatrist, but didn't remember it until the psychiatrist pulled it out of her. That's what she says. She denies, because the prosecutor goes at her hard about, didn't you do this for the insurance money? Their whole line of questioning is about, you changed the policy in June, and then you killed him in September. How much money were you stand to get? Blah, blah, blah. All about that, basically. They make it all... Because, they're looking for motive, and that's something that you could put in the jury's mind, and they'll go, that's a reason.
It's a lot of money.
Because otherwise, you look at her, and you're going to believe her.
Right.
You're going to go, yeah, that guy's a dick. Everyone says he's abusive. She killed him. Fucking case closed. Fuck that guy. But if you make it of... it's for money, then it's dirty, and it's maybe...
It sucks.
Yeah. She testified that she never encouraged Harold to make her the sole beneficiary, though. She said, I didn't tell him to do it. He just wanted to do it because he didn't want his kids on it anymore. And who the fuck else was he going to give it to, basically? I'm his wife. So she said he believed his 6 children didn't love him. This guy's a fucking psycho.
Yeah.
He changed, or maybe they didn't because he's a piece of shit and beat the shit out of their moms and stuff. I wouldn't fucking love him. So
maybe he's a jerk.
That's the thing. Maybe he's an asshole. Right. What do you want? So he changed his will because of legal action by his ex-wife, is what she said. I guess his ex-wife, Pat, tried to recover back child support of $32,000 and of child support and alimony. Wow. How fucking long was he not paying for?
No kidding.
Jesus. In 1990? He's probably paying $300 a month, for Christ's sake. He's old child support since fucking Elvis came out. The night Elvis was on Ed Sullivan is when the ruling came down. Fuck, man. So, she said she didn't plan to shoot and dismember him at all. That's not how it worked. Fuck, man. She said it just happened. She detailed how she killed him, how she dismembered him. She said that, quote, the blood all drained out of him. And then she sobbed when she was talking about cutting him open, chopping limbs off.
Generally how it happens.
Yep. She said that he pointed the gun at her from the vault room of the basement, which was like an annex room to the basement there. She said, quote, he has the gun kept on top of the refrigerator in his hand. First of all, he calls me Pat. and says, "You women are trying to take all my money," because Pat's his ex-wife who's trying to take his whatever, that alimony thing. He says, "You women are trying to take all my money." She said, quote, "His face was twisted up. It was a horrible look he had on his face. I went for the guns as fast as I could. I thought he was going to kill me." And she's sobbing on the stand. She said she fired 2 shots from each of the guns that she picked up from a cabinet near the basement stairs. She said that he said to him, "Why'd you go and do that for?" And then he fell down to the floor. Which, why'd you go and do that for?
Yeah.
Plop.
Yeah.
Famous last word there. She said that she woke up and didn't even remember the shooting the next day. She said that she was in a daze throughout the day and went to bed that night feeling awful. Yeah. She said, quote, "I had a nightmare that I had shot Harold and went to the vault room to see if the nightmare was true," she said. So after Heather had left for school, she said she went down to make sure that was just a dream. And she said she cried and shook when she saw the body. She said, quote, "I still loved him. Why?
Yeah.
Why? I didn't want him to be dead. I was sad. It was just like a part of me died down there with him." And she said that she's still working now to remember all the events of everything. She said, though, she found the guns next to the body in the vault room, along with a black-handled knife and a picture of a boy and girl. She said, "I was scared, and I stabbed the knife through the picture. I was hot and burning all over. I think I thought it was my older brother, Larry, and myself in the picture." She was having some kind of...
Yeah, an episode.
She stabbed a picture through him. She said, quote, "I stabbed Harold on the side of the stomach along the rib cage. I kept cutting, and then I put the knife down. All I know is I cut across the top. I sawed his legs. I used the knife and I cut off his legs at the knees. I cut his hips off too. Used a knife to cut him off the knees. That's hard, dude.
That's a woman that's gutted an animal before.
That's a woman who's butchered shit out.
She knows what joints.
It's a farm woman. Yeah. She remembers cutting off Harold's arm and putting, quote, "part of his stomach pieces in the garbage bags."
Yeah.
"I took the top part over across the road." Okay, that's just John Mulaney now. Now did he get that from this?
The top part?
The top part. He called it the top part.
Yeah.
She called it the top part.
Unbelievable.
"I took the top part over across the road." Wow. She says that she recalls... she recalled the dismemberment when she confessed there. But then afterwards it kind of got cloudy. She also says that they talk about her childhood, and she said that her mother once tried to stab her and also stab her father as well, and her father backed that up with testimony as well. So her mother was fucking out there, it sounds like. I don't know what was wrong with her, but definitely something. And she said she was raped as a child and used to be forced to watch her father have sex with his girlfriend.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus Christ. And so she testified about Harold's abuse and when the abuse came and all that sort of thing. So in closing, the defense lawyers here, they talk to the jurors, and the defense lawyer reminds them when they go in that this is funny too. Tells them, listen, she's a fragile woman with a fragile state of mind at this point, and it's all this abuse and everything. Just so you remember, she is only on trial for murder, not dismemberment. So don't let the dismemberment cloud your judgment on the murder. It's just murder. She's on trial. Literally, he was saying that. Remember that the dismemberment plays no part in this.
Right.
Just murder. So that's your only choices there. That's how that worked.
They didn't even bring that into it, huh?
No, they didn't. Now, to convict her, here's how it works. They're trying to simplify it because they don't want to get into all that shit.
Yeah, don't muddy the water.
Don't muddy the water.
Simple. She admitted to it. Let's just try her with that.
Yeah, so to convict her of first-degree murder, as the prosecution wants, the jury needs to be certain, obviously beyond a reasonable doubt, that the killing was premeditated. That's first-degree murder. So it's a 7-woman, 5-man jury, by the way. There's also 2 lesser offenses involved here. There is second-degree murder or voluntary manslaughter as well. So if you feel bad and you feel like she was abused, you can drop a voluntary manslaughter on her, and that is way less than murder, because first-degree murder is life without.
Yeah.
You're done. And and manslaughter's got some, 15 years and you're out in 5 and all that kind of shit. So the verdict comes in here, and the town is, full courtroom.
Yeah.
Everybody waiting. Verdict. The verdict comes in, and they say Not guilty of all. Acquitted. Have a good one, Betty.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Go have a nice dinner tonight.
You got a foundation to fix.
Not guilty.
Wow.
Go fix your crack in the floor and don't worry about Harold. Fuck that guy.
Forever.
12 people said, fuck that guy. Done. Acquitted.
Unbelievable.
Not even voluntary manslaughter.
Yeah.
That's how much they hated Harold and liked Betty.
James, then that double jeopardy, she can't even be tried again.
No.
She admitted to it, owned up to it, acquitted.
Dismemberment on tape. They played the tape and showed the pictures, and the jury just said, fuck him, he deserved it. That's how big of an asshole this guy was. That's what an abusive twat he is. And I'm not mad about it. Fuck this guy. Again, this is like Layla in West Virginia. Yeah. I really don't give a fuck about this guy. He's a dick.
That's what happens when you beat your families.
Yeah.
Plural.
Sorry.
Forever.
Yeah. You know what? Eventually, you're going to it's Russian roulette here. Eventually, you're going to find the fucking family that isn't going to let you beat them for 10 years, and someone's going to shoot you in the back, because fuck them. Who cares?
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild. Acquitted.
Done.
Of everything, not even.
And she went on to murder 4 more husbands.
And yes, right now she's known as the Black Widow of Iowa, and she's on death row.
No, cornfield Black Widow.
That's how it goes, boy. So afterwards, they talked to her outside the court because they just let her go. That's it. You're done. You're released. They process her. She's out. She said, quote, "Oh, thank God, thank God, thank God." She told a reporter after that. She was crying her eyes out. Several of the jurors were smiling while she was crying and hugging her attorney there. Apparently they were happy for her.
Yeah.
There was about a dozen family members there, including 2 of her sons. Everybody was weeping. She said that she, quote, prayed all night in her jail cell for an acquittal. She said, please, praise the Lord, the system works. Okay. That's one way to put it. I agree there for this case. Sometimes, not for our show.
Calm down,
rarely.
Betty.
Let's not put this on the whole system.
Right.
Jury members declined to comment right away, as we'll get to some comments later on. But the family members were happy. Her sister, Vicky, said, quote, under the circumstances, it was the right thing to do. If someone had pointed a gun at me, I would do the same thing. I'm very sorry it happened, but I think the verdict was fair. What's she going to say? Fuck my sister.
Yeah. Also, don't fuck with chicks from Iowa, apparently, because this one, too.
Fuck with farm chicks. I will bust a cap in your ass.
I will fucking...
You will get shot.
I'll chop your belly off and include the dick.
I'll just put your dick and a piece of your abdomen.
Part of your abdomen in the field.
And your stomach parts in a bag. Enjoy. She said, I think her testimony convinced them. And the lawyer said that his defense wasn't the battered wife syndrome. He said, quote, this was a pure self-defense case, but he also said the public's sensitivity toward domestic violence victims also probably worked in his favor. Obviously, people are, not okay with that. Right. You know, they tend to feel bad for someone who's getting knocked around their fucking house for no reason for
Wild
years.
that it's the silent minority that likes that shit.
Yeah, weird, isn't it? Strange. So he also said that the lawyer said that he had a good luck charm, which was a pink-haired troll doll that he had with him. So that's who did it.
He's the only guy that uses that as a good luck charm?
Apparently. He said, quote, I think this is what made the difference. Yeah. I had it with me the whole time. I think I'll keep it in my office as kind of a trophy.
Oh, man. In 20 years, he's going to be blown away.
And then he gave it to Betty. He did. And he gave it to Betty, and so she had it. And he said...
She loves Princess Poppy.
She loves it. She says, quote, I'm really sorry Harold is dead because I still loved him. Mm-hmm. That was her quote on the courthouse steps. Now, a week later... She said that she's gotten a ton of outpouring of support from friends and strangers and everything like that. She said, quote, I've had a lot of letters, phone calls, and hugs. Most people have been very supportive. She said she's not surprised by the reaction. She says, I think people probably know what I went through. I just want to thank everyone for their support and their prayers. So she's continuing to sell insurance, I guess.
Yeah.
She said that she was going to keep selling insurance. That's what she wants to do. She loves doing it for some reason. Imagine loving to sell dismemberment insurance. But she said she first plans to check herself into a psychiatric hospital to, quote, work through some of the things in my past. Very responsible.
Beautiful.
Holy shit. Yeah. Wow.
Perfect.
Betty, you're
fucking right
taking responsibility for everything. Oh, my God. That's amazing. Good.
And now I've got $145,000 I can do it.
And now maybe she'll fucking get some of that shit out of there and find someone, or not, but if she wants to find someone, maybe find someone who's not an abusive twat.
Right.
So She says she's going to do that. Psychiatrists obviously had testified in her behalf, so it seems like she needs some help. She said that she shot her husband, and it was just she also poured farm. One time she talked about how he poured farm chemicals on her body after he beat her because she had cuts.
Ouch!
Farm chemicals.
Whatever the fuck that is.
I don't know, but it sounds
pesticide.
Fucking disturbing. One of the jurors in the case, they talked to one of the jurors, and this is interesting here. I really want to know what they said. One of the jurors in the case said that she set aside her emotions when she voted to acquit. It wasn't an emotional thing. She said you couldn't help but have certain parts of the testimony strike you emotionally, but it was not an emotional decision on my part. She said, quote, she said that she was speaking only for herself, not on the behalf of the other people on the jury, obviously, but they all found her not guilty, so it seems like everyone had the same mindset. She said, you don't sit in a courtroom for 3 weeks and listen to that kind of testimony without being affected. I have dreams about this every night. I'm still processing everything I've seen and heard.
I'm sure.
Yeah, these are normal people who come in and sit there and then they're like, let me show you a dismembered fucking torso. Want to see genitalia with part of an abdomen attached to it?
Would you like to see a body's top part?
Yeah, want to see the top part? Hold on, let me wheel it in this little wagon. That'll make it better for everybody. So, post-acquittal here, quickly talk about a little bit about kind of what that meant for the whole. This is a big deal. This is the early 90s.
Case,
It's a pretty landmark deal for someone to be, because this is more. Because this is almost like she said self-defense, but his prints weren't on the gun. They know. I think the jury knows he wasn't probably pointing a gun at her right at that moment. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that we all think that Betty didn't feel in fear for her life. Yeah. That's the thing. Whether he had a gun or not doesn't fucking matter, because he could have grabbed one at any point, and also he's done worse without a gun. So who knows? Yeah. So that's a thing that's like people are talking about a lot. Like this is almost a jury nullification case where she said she did it. They know she did it, and they went, fuck that guy. Right. We don't care. Yeah. Fucking not guilty, because that's pretty much what it is. If you look at it, if you
on its face value, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, if you take it like letter of what it was, you can say like they believed that she was getting a gun pointed at her, so she did that. The dismemberment part was just overkill or whatever, so that's fine. But there's somebody here, a newspaper article in Iowa about this, talking about how this is a different kind of thing. Well, this is an instructor in women in the criminal justice system from a college around here, University of Iowa. She says, quote, traditionally, self-defense instructions speak to imminent danger. You can't, for example, respond to an assault with fists by using a deadly weapon. In the 1980s, the court started recognizing that these traditional notions simply don't fit cases where women are abused. Because that's how they used to do it. Women used to claim like a self-defense, and they go, well, were you in danger of him killing you right at that very second?
Actively beating you?
And so they kind of took it to when it's an ongoing thing where it's not like you got in a bar fight and you left and he left. You're not going to see each other anymore. You live together. Right. This guy pulls you out of bed in the middle of the fucking night. He can do anything to you.
It's always happening.
It's a constant threat. So that's kind of what they went from an imminent threat of right now, punch, shoot, to general overall imminent threat. So they said that from the use of that, the battered woman syndrome evidence, where women feel they're in imminent danger, she said evidence has been accompanied by the belief that traditional definition of self-defense didn't really fit that scenario, which is true. Whether there was imminent danger hasn't been of the same importance now. She said that this whole thing, people are becoming more aware of domestic abuse in the home that were previously assumed to be sanctuaries. Many women are saving their lives when they do what they do, which I think eventually he would have killed her. Probably. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or just tortured her for 20 years.
Or hospitalized her within an inch of her
more.
life.
That's the thing.
One way or
and
another.
The kid, too. Yeah. He abused this teenage girl for the rest of her fucking time.
And
Fuck that guy, man.
Right. You're putting a seed in her head that's fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
And that's terrible.
That's what I'm saying. So she said that my prediction is that about juries, that they would not take a person's word at will. They would want everything to have some corroborating evidence. And they do. And everybody comes up and goes, oh, yeah, this is the worst guy ever. Total asshole. Yeah. piece of shit. As
a kid that grew up in a household that's very similar to this, apart
shitty.
From, yeah,
I didn't
apart
have
from
violence like that,
apart
but shitty.
from guns being pointed at us, it's very similar. I understand the want and
yes,
you can see the how it got there.
It makes sense.
We just didn't have the I don't know, gumption. I don't know. It probably boils down to bravery. I just didn't have the bravery to fight
Well,
back.
if you're a child too, it's different. It's a difficult thing.
And my mom was rarely in the house when it all happened, so she didn't see it.
Yeah, it's tough. As a kid, you don't have the same wherewithal to do shit
but
like
you
that
do
either.
go to your bedroom stinging, thinking, one day I'm going to fucking do something about this.
But as a kid, you never think that you're a legitimate human to go do anything
you
now.
Just wish.
So there's a lot of everything is Sunday.
Sit in your bed and
That's
just
the problem.
wish. I wish I was bigger.
That's it. So they say at this point, about 2,000 to 4,000 women are killed yearly in the country by abusive, boyfriends and husbands and shit, adding about a third that many men are killed by their mates as well. So it's domestic violence in either way is a huge deal. In abuse cases where women are found guilty of homicide, they tend to serve longer sentences than men. In this particular case, that is flipped completely around now.
Really?
Yep. Back then, that's how it was. Now I just study on it. It's completely flipped around now. Women now in criminal justice get for the same crimes, they get way less sentences now. It's the only like advantage they have in this whole thing is that if they get busted doing something, they do less time.
Congrats,
generally.
ladies.
Hey, ladies, there you go. I guess I don't know. He said, "quote When they're not successful with the jury, women tend to pay for it," which is wild. Lori Shipper is director of an Ames, Iowa shelter for battered women. She said, "quote I feel enormous relief for Betty. Justice was served. Society needs to recognize that battered women should be able to protect themselves." Yeah, you can't just beat the shit out of somebody and fucking make them fear for their life all the time. Sorry. Now, of course, not everyone's happy. No. There are some people, and if you go through the newspapers of the time, which I did, you'll find some letters from people, some editorials that are very fucking pissed off.
They're angry.
Yeah, here's one from a guy named W.H. Baker in Coralville.
Again, W and H don't go together. Coral.
Well, this asshole,
last name Baker.
This asshole probably just doesn't want to give his first name because you shouldn't want to if this is your fucking take here.
Oh, boy.
Quote, "Isn't it wonderful that Betty Freeberg is..." by the way, before I get into this letter, I should tell you, but when she got out of the hospital, she was going around to colleges talking to criminal justice courses about battered women, about self-defense, about her story. Okay. She went around, I actually found on Reddit somebody recalling having her come into their class and say this is a crazy story. They had a shitload of the details wrong because they were probably trying to remember it from 30 years ago, but they were talking about it saying...
It's crazy. She became a race car driver.
Yeah, it's wild. She fucking won...
One Daytona 500.
She won she won IndyCar. She's doing great. So, yeah, she came in to do that, and it's fucked because, like, she's coming in doing all that sort of shit, and some people are pissed off at her, and I feel like it's almost dangerous for her. I hope that nobody fucks with her at that point. This asshole said anyway, quote, "Isn't it wonderful that Betty Freeberg is urging other abuse victims to, quote, with quotes, to seek help?" Here, listen to this guy's take. "What a noble gesture for someone acquitted of murder who actually admits to said murder." Betty goes on to lament, quote, "I hope women don't ever have to go through what I went through. Indeed, who would want to depend on a self-defense plea when the murder victim was shot in the back, dismembered, and scattered around a farm like fodder? Amazing how such a, quote, and it's in quotes, desperate abuse victim..." Like that was nothing. Has such marvelous hindsight. In judicial fairness, her trial should have been moved out of Jefferson County. Her pathetic display of remorse and justification was enough for an obviously simpleton jury of peers to be manipulated into an acquittal. I don't know. Everyone that's listening, there's hundreds of thousands of people listening right now. How many of you went, fuck yeah, when I said not guilty? A shitload of you, right? Yeah. Apparently you are simpletons. Obvious simpletons.
Apparently W.H. Baker was very good friends with him.
Oh, they sold antiques to. He drives a white van right here, this guy. That's all I could tell.
W.H. Fuck you.
Fuck this guy.
Who calls you W.H.?
Nobody.
Who says that shit to your face? Because that is 4 syllables way too many for 2 letters.
Some old fart who beats his wife, probably. He says, quote, "A jury of intelligent, detached individuals would have found her rightfully guilty. I'm appalled by domestic abuse and encourage all victims to seek help. help. I'm more appalled by Betty Freeberg's selective insight, the grisly murder she admits to, and the incompetent jurors who decided her actions were appropriate recourse. Yeah. Fuck you, dude.
Suck it, Dub.
Dude, suck it. Really, honestly, go fuck yourself. Eat just a pile of mountain of dicks and fuck your mother.
And stop beating your wife.
Yeah. You've already beat your wife into, what is it? How many wives are you on now, asshole? And that's because they've all left you for whatever fucking reason, you stupid dipshit. So, it's one of those things. You just wish fucking Betty... We all wish that just Betty and him at that singles function would have just passed walk on by, just like Dionne Warwick, walk on by.
It would have been great if in his head that night he said, she's a fat pig.
Or she said, look at this shriveled up old fucking old nutsack loser. Fuck him.
I wish they would have just viscerally hated each other.
That would have been amazing. Away. But apparently, if you're on the farm, I don't know if it's easier to find people, harder to find people, so you have to.
But again, resorting back, he turns on a charm to meet women.
That's the thing, and he does. Right. Every one of his wives did the same thing. First year or two, charming, nice guy. He's got to have some kind of charm if you can get 5 wives. Right. Not everyone can find 5 people to marry them.
Yeah.
I know plenty of people who'd love to find one person to marry them and can't find that. This guy finds them every 5 fucking years.
Yeah.
So he's got to have some kind of quality that attracts women to him. Probably the issue probably is that these women were probably abused as kids or something, and that's what attracts them to him, is because they know he's an abuser, and he's attracted to them because he can tell they're abused, and it's some weird fucking animal frequency that we get on that we don't even know we're doing, where we do terrible things to our own selves. I don't get that shit.
Like, if you're in a relationship, just get out of it before it gets to this.
You know what?
He fucking loses his mind and gets you, or you have had enough.
I'll go a step further. If you're in a relationship, just get out of it anyway. Just preemptively. You never know. They could turn.
You've been great, but who's to know if you're going to get comfortable and be an asshole?
Let's all just... You know what? It's musical chairs. Now we're all going to sit, and then we're going to get up, and you're not going to end up back in that same chair again. Who cares at this point? Let's just all, after hearing that story, let's just all wash our hands of our relationships and go our separate ways, because bad stuff is going to happen to fucking everybody. That's disturbing, but I am happy. This does remind me of Barbara Ann Peterson.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Barbara Ann
Peterson, I believe, in Marydale, Maryland. She actually, though, was convicted at first, and then she appealed it, and her conviction was overturned, and she was freed. But this is like walking out of the courtroom that day. This is like fucking OJ, Yeah. She got like an OJ acquittal.
She gets I can't imagine how cool that is.
How great must she have felt at that moment in time?
As a kid, I wished for that day. But that's the other part too. When you're a kid and you're getting beat, you already know that murder's bad, and you want to murder the guy, and then you're just like, but then I'm going to go to jail with. I've seen documentaries already with children in prison.
I've already
with grown ass men.
Yeah,
that's horrifying.
My butthole's going to not like that.
Right.
Whole thing. So
I'm going to kill this guy and then go to prison with guys that are him and worse.
Yeah,
fuck
that's
that.
the other thing. How many people am I going to have to kill by the end of it?
They take away knives from you in there.
That's what I'm saying.
Not allowed to have a gun.
This shit is crazy, and Jesus Christ. Well, Betty's good, and hopefully Heather recovered also, because she had to live with that whole thing. So hopefully she kind of... hopefully this didn't ruin her life too much. Imagine that. It's hard enough to be in like the 9th grade, but to have your mom on trial for dismembering your stepfather.
Right.
That's a lot for a kid.
I do love that she got right out of the court and talking to a court reporter says, I'm going to go to therapy and get better, because she already realized it's a very famous quote now, but it's you date according to your self-esteem at the same
absolutely.
level. So if you hate yourself, you're going to date somebody that hates you.
She said, I have tons of stuff from my childhood and my past.
I got to sort through.
I'm going to take care of that, then do stuff. I was like, wow, that's healthy as fuck, Betty.
Right.
And like I said,
somebody that loves me.
Yep. And then she went around to colleges and did some speeches for a while. Right. And I think I found her, but leave her alone. You know what I mean? This poor lady's got enough problems. I think I found her, but I'm not positive it's her, but I think it's her. Okay. I haven't been able to find an obituary for her.
That's outstanding.
I was looking for under all of her different names and everything too, and so I'm hoping that she's still around. I'm hoping the one I found is her, but
still single.
Like I said, I'm not going to fucking. She had another name in there, so I don't know if I think she got married again at some point.
Can you imagine being that guy?
Yeah. Hey.
So you did what?
Hey, Betty. She's like, I said to stop doing that. He's like, okay.
Yep.
No problem. No problem, sweetheart. Never again. Never again. No, I will never put my socks on the floor next to the hamper ever again. I apologize. I know that could be super irritating. Totally, you could just make you want to dismember a person. Right. I get it.
And babe, the kitchen's dirty. What'd you just say? I said I'm going to go clean it. That's all I was telling you.
What's this wagon doing here? I don't like this at all. What's happening here? This is no good.
I was just prefacing what I'm about to go do with the reason that I'm doing it. Not you. I don't want you to do anything.
No, you're
Have
good.
A seat.
You
Have
relax,
a seat.
chill. God, let me make you something to eat here. Put your feet up. That is wild.
He can't be married to that woman after that.
No, it'd be tough.
Oh, my.
If you like that story, there is a way to tell us and tell the world about it. Get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon. Give us 5 stars. Tell us either why you like the show. Tell us your favorite sandwich, your most fluffiest cloud formations. Tell us anything you want. It doesn't fucking matter to me. Tell me what your favorite toy was when you were 10.
I hope it was a red wagon.
That's a good thing. That's why I said that. Yeah, obviously. Let's see if it's a red wagon and we can all fucking get together on that. So do that, though. Apple Podcast, that purple icon, does help us out a lot. Also, you can follow us on social media as well. You can find us at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and Small Town Murder on Instagram. You can do that. If you want to be a supporter of the show, even more, if you want to be a hero of ours, and on top of that, a producer, and on top of that, get a bunch of stuff for you.
Deal.
Holy shit, you can do that. You can do that very easily. Going to Patreon here, you're going to get Jimmie mispronouncing your name. If it's an Italian name, good Lord, he won't even
get it.
He'll give you a new name.
God,
and you're going to get all of that stuff, and you're going to get tons of bonus episodes. We do bonus shit all the time. Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder, we do 2 a month for each. So, and you get access to all of them for $5. So you get 4 extra shows a month. You can't beat that.
Right.
It's good stuff. You can do all of that over at patreon.com/crime and sports. Or if you want to be just a hero of ours and have your name mispronounced by Jimmie and just have some good karma, you can do that as well over at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. And we just wanted to explain quickly, when you sign up for Patreon, because we've had people ask us, well, what do I do? You sign up for Patreon, they email you a link that takes you there, and then you can have it added to your feed and everything, and it'll just pop right up in your feed like normal. Your email. Yeah, it's all through your email. You sign up in there, and then it comes up, I think, normal, right, in your feed with your normal podcast shit. So
I think that's true.
I think it's true. I'm not sure, but a lot of people have been able to figure it out. You'll be able to figure it out.
If it's frustrating, I apologize.
Yeah, I don't think it is. Everybody said it's pretty easy.
I would be able to figure it. So
yeah, well,
hang in there.
Let's find out the list of the people who are going to figure this out this week and get access to all our great stuff. Everybody, please, Jimmie, mostly, hit me with these names of the people who would never dismember me and carry me around a farm in a red wagon. Hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Kelly Loff. I think that's an L. It might be Roff. I am an awful person. Jeez.
Name one.
Starting out, right out of the gate.
Quickly, before you go, now that you screwed one name up, before we get any further into the name screwing up, I have to congratulate Kevin and Corey.
Yeah.
Kevin is Sarah's cousin, and good friends of ours. We like them a lot. So Kevin and Corey got engaged.
Oh, boy.
And they're getting married. So congratulations,
Good
guys.
for you.
Yeah.
Well, the other ones this week, executive producers are Ross Rochester, Shannon. Oh, my God. Gammon? Yes. Shannon Gammon. Got it. Taylor Hahn, J.C. Hansen, Tim Haley, Media Maven, and she sent a nice note. Thank you very much. Cindy O'Brien, Saquon Barkley, Deborah Durnall, Amanda Richards, Ben Brunson, Christy Chauvin, shove in. It's spelled like shove in. It's not.
Shove in.
It's probably Chauvin or Chauvin.
Yeah.
Joanna Ahern. It's actually Joanne Ahern. Sherry Paulist, Linda Campbell, Chrissy Ann Castaldi. She's been with
Chrissy.
us for 3 years.
Chrissy.
She's a sweetheart. Thank you, Chrissy. Ann Pagano, Jackie Sukup, Jordan Bennett, and Carol Braun. The last 4 there are just people that have been around for so long. Thank you guys so much for everything you do, truly.
You guys are the best.
Other producers this week are Elizabeth Rose Reagan White. Happy birthday for Senorita Melanie.
Hey.
I doubt that's her first name.
Senorita.
Right. And then we also have, what am I doing, man? Ekaterini, Arsenellis. That can't be right. Mason Mason Wicks, Nick Simmons, Jericho Nightshade, John Allen, Jonah McNeil.
Jericho Nightshade? Yeah, that's the coolest name ever.
I'm sure he's a wrestler, right?
Yeah,
he's got to be.
Gotta be.
Maddie would know last name. Paul Kipwin, Kierwin. That's what it is. Ali Vandegrift. Leah would know last name. Rachel Wargaki. I gotta fucking take a penmanship class. Allison Diem, Edward Cruz, it's Brian. Bustard or Bustard? Bastard? It's Bustard, right? Wesley with no last name. Kyle Anderson, Deborah Bryant, Melissa Lee, Kyle Anderson, Christy Solisinski, Hunter Hensler, Gabby Ward? No, Gordon. Damn it. Amina Sali. I think Amina Sasali. It's 2 S's, man. I don't know.
It's a tough one.
Yeah. Erica Schaefer, Emily Fitzsimmons, Lynn Gross, Tristan Sibley, Luke Ninneman, Samuel Caldwell, Greg Yor, Melissa Powell. Fuck. Garrett Woodbury, Cricket Hilliard, Marlise Sage, I think. Fuck. Renee Swelling, Aaron Benja. Brianne Liga, damn it, Amanda. So she's obviously from Australia.
That's Aussie named Amanda.
Clearly, right. Jacob Andrew Galloway, Foxy Beaver. Oh boy. Patrick Matu, Amanda Nicole Lewis, Cody McCaskill, Alexis Wortham, Marsha Peterson, Brianne Poland, Crifix Juicy. Cryfix? I don't know. Brooke with no last name. Jeremy Christensen. Stephen Petrikis. Pickle Bean. Catherine Kuykendall. Rebecca Martin. Megan H. Or is that an N? I think it's an N. I gotta get it together. Riley Makietsky? No. Laura Riley, Beth with no last name, Cassie Harris, Sean Powell, Christina Peterson, Jeffrey Tellis, Aurora Santangelo, I'm sorry. Oh. Carrie Stupp, Johnny, I know, it's, you know, Joni and Max Price, Robert Esparza, Joe Evans, and Andre Brown, Murray McCartney, Kay Steinhilber, Madison Grant, Mark Cordio. Chris Moffitt, Brandon Fedor, Jamie McKay, Don Bottoms, Daniel Ranweiler, Christopher and Jade Hughes, Kate Hauk, Julie Garcia. What is this? All right, already. I'll watch the fucking Wire. There you go. Miller Maggio, Tom Saldi, Sam Harvey. What is that? Kelly King. Yeah, no. Carly with no last name. Angela McCormick, Amy Soifer, Alexandra Brown, Greg Fredrickson, Janet Jacob, David Tiller.
There you go.
Candace Gordons, Heather Thomas, Zen Wren, Beverly Henkel, Bethany Armour, Julie Peltier, sorry, Julie, James Welch, Thomas Fine, or Rhine, or 9. John Allen, Josh Lamaster, Rakiv Lewis, Angela with no last name, Neil Link, Gavin Musfeld, Amanda Gray, Krista Ramirez, she's in Texas, thank you, Krista.
Thank you.
Laura Hawkins, Casey Vandervorst, Andrew Kowalski, Louisa Johnson. Nope, that's Lisa Johnson. I'm so dumb. Evan Sirik, Dre Ensor, Austin Koenig, Shannon McCune, Sean Thompson, Tia Fish, Gary Howard. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate you. Heather Huey. Heather, thank you. Tammy Hackett, Bonnie with no last name, Kaylee Spikes, Caitlin Coleman, DM King of Beans, Cody Lowe's, Aaron Reed, Lisa Dudgeon, Emily Franz, Kimberly Nichols, William Anderson, C.W., Brandon, she of Elbean, nope, sure. Adnerb, August with no last name, Brenda Hall, Kathy Matus, Atreyu, Kaylee O'Hara, Carly Hornack, Shayna Gallahorn. No, probably. Tyrell Hodges, Julia Jazinska, Jimmy Valencia, Ryan Snyder, Catherine Bruzoni, I think. I'm sorry. Kelly Gillespie. She's also an artist in L.A., and she is fucking fantastic. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Holly Moquin White, Steve Darabas. Rachel Tish, Hugh Atkinson, Viviana Hernandez, Miranda Levitt Pino. Sorry.
He's so bad at Italian.
Cody Panzai, maybe. It's Italian also.
Yeah, that could be anything.
Tim Solomonson, Dory Lyons, Amanda Hidden, Eli Gowell, Isabella, Travis Shatima, Mike Smith, William Cordell, Max Hobbs, Antonio Nicholson, Brent McCollum, Matt Johnson, Ayla Heffernan, Will Chow, I think, Brandon Wilson, Rachel Sincere, Stephanie W., Joe with no last name, Michael DiStefano, nailed it. Fucking
Jimmie. That was good.
Serena Garcia, Julia Schuster, Victoria Walters, Elizabeth Deegan, Meredith Martin, Daniel McGowan, The Pollinator. I forget what. I don't remember where that was from.
Some episode.
So good. Pause to play. Nicholas with no last name. Molly McDermott, Keegan. What did I do? Retchinger. I don't know if that's an R or a K. I apologize. Alicia Coletta, Elizabeth Parker Stafford, Sophie Schmidaver. I don't know if it's a U or a V. Pickles with no last name. John Penrod Jr., Richard with no last name. Amber Everhart, Samantha Graybill, Tyler Bing, 1996. Jack McGee, Holly Levinson, Megan Eberhard, Heather, Stout, I think. Kurt Neeram. Is there a Kurt Neeram that's famous? Why do I know that name? I don't know. Yvonne Wright, Court Seal, Jewel Jones. Jewel, thank you so much.
Thank you.
She's down in North Carolina, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. Emily the Strange, Don Hatch, Katie with no last name, Rashid Bibbs. Oh, it's just Bib. One Bib. Zach Taylor, Amanda.
Singular Bib.
Amanda Monell, Libzilla, Gabrielle Orelli, Casey Trentman, Tiffany Capozzi. All right. This is getting to be goddamn ridiculous.
Italian, sign up for Patreon. It's hilarious.
Capozzi. Amanda with no last name. Josh Guido. That's easy enough, but that's because it's a slur. Sean Meyer, Kimberly Blevins, and Drake. Thank you both. Carly Miller, Celine, Izzy Berthsound. Kyle Shute, Marcus Longo, Marcos Mora, Clarence Tudor, Charisma with no last name, Adam Gray, Todd Horse Cochran. You know what he's saying.
I do.
I don't believe him. Min Lil McGee, Patrick Corey, Matt with no last name, Simone Stridham, John Doe, nope. Felicia Harrison, Three Bugs Mom, Isaiah Swift, Alexika, Allen, what? Jamie McDermott, Sean Mosley, Steve with no last name, Stacy Lockett, Injoli Pettis. I know her from somewhere, or he. Fuck. It's probably she, right?
Yeah,
Mary
I don't know, you know them. Why don't you tell me what gender they are?
I know that person, I swear. Mary Breedlove, Matt Glennon, Jenny Mosier, Joseph DeMarcy. I'm sorry. Benjamin Rickett, Sarah with no last name, Monica Shute, Debbie Sushwan, Amanda Press, Robin in Seattle, happy birthday, Chad Haas, Cynthia with no last name, Alicia Rains, Justin Lee, Riley Kyle Dignan, shit, Erica Fardown,
something like that.
Riley Foster, Kelly Moyer, Patrick Matu, Max Hobbs, David Albert, Holly Hoffman, happy birthday, and Lindsay Lowe, thank you very much. Doreen Cruz, Macy Messinio, Sarah Lasher, Chastity Irwin, Justin Perry, Jorge Torres, Eric Castillo, Cindy Wilkin, Shay with no last name, Michelle Turner, Allison Bailey, Aaron Tate, Kelly Kunecki Martz. Probably not. Leanne Bogie, William with no last name, Denise Simon, Diego Santori, Thomas Smith, Timothy Heath, Jolene Flath, Carly Mann, Craig Riley, Zach Altimus, Nikki Lundquist, Ashley Vio, Brendan Abels, Liz Vasquez, Erica Langdon.
We know all these people.
We do. Zoe McGeechan, Gerald with no last name. Happy birthday, Jackie, the meteorologist.
Cool.
Otherwise known as a liar. Peyton Meadows, Amanda Lipinski, Andrew Gauchi, James Martyr, Halls Fowler TV, Vincent Strauss, Tiana Royer, Tracy Poets, Emily Tincher, Greg Voda, Tom Locke, Mandy Knight, Eric Castillo said that, Janice Hill, Katarzyna Nianzolka. She got me again because she knows the names of fucking nightmare. Chris Foy, Matthew Getchow, Emily Taylor, Brian Crosby, and Samantha Summerlin. You guys come through every week. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts.
Saviors.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We really hope you're enjoying the bonus material. We're really working hard to give you different stuff and kind of a variety and funny stuff and weird stuff and just a variety. We want you guys to kind of have like a whole other experience on that.
We don't want to water it down with too many goddamn cases. You get that every week. We want to try and give you something fresh and new and something that is us.
We don't want it to be this light. We try to make it like a whole other thing. So if you check that out, just different stuff, prisoner dating games and the classified ads and the weird like small town things we look at and last meals and death penalty stuff and all sorts of crazy shit. So check it all out there. Thank you for everybody that has. Honestly, you guys are the best. What if somebody wanted to thank you for anything, Jimmie? How could they possibly do it?
You can do it. It's on social media. I'm at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks. And look around. You'll find it. Where are you?
Just copy and paste my last name. Yeah. You'll find me on there. It's Jimmie P. That Jimmie P is funny, but it doesn't matter. You'll find it. Just copy and paste and do all that shit. Don't try to spell my last name.
It's a nightmare.
I couldn't do it at first, so
we chose these last names.
Chose to keep them.
These aren't even our real names.
No, this is a stage name I use. It's Pietragallo.
My name's Tom Smith. I was like, there's too many of those.
Just wanted to confuse everybody. Right. I'm kind of a dick. I'm kind of contrary, so I just said, "How about Pietragallo, fuckheads?" What do you think of that?
Bet there's not another one of those. That'll be real unique.
Perfect. So with that said, everybody, thanks again for joining us. Keep coming back each and every week, over and over again. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country, who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.